must intervene. I have to wonder, is this a nightmare or is it a dream? Who am I kidding? For a man like me, there ain't no other than New Orleans. Three's counting, spectre shine. There's gonna be trouble, just my kind. I'll take this gun to New Orleans. They say there's work for a man like me. Three's counting, two hands more. Hands will be steady. One's first was upon the floor. Two above, three below. I'm counting graves that I will fill. Two above, three below. We're counting graves that we have filled. We're counting graves that we will fill, that we will fill with men like you, with men I'm heading south, take that train, packed a bag, slipped away. They say it's dark in New Orleans. They say there's work for a woman like me. I killed a man and a few more. I shot them down and left their bodies cooling on that old dirt floor. I killed another to get this seat on the train to New Orleans. 3 days counting, spectre shine. There's gonna be trouble, just my kind. I'll take this letter to New Orleans. They say there's work for a woman like me. I'm heading west, take that train, bound in blood, bound in name. The bounty's high in New Orleans. I hear there's work for a man like me. They say good men must intervene. I have to wonder, is this a nightmare or is it a dream? Who am I kidding? For a man like me, there ain't no other than New Orleans. Three's counting, spectre shine. There's gonna be trouble, just my kind. I'll take this gun to New
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to USFC 186. Getting that much closer to the USFC 200. And for that event, I think we will do some sort of tournament for sure. Still working out the details on that, but it will be a special event, nothing like the usual fight cards. I'll try and invite special guests as we get close to the time as well. Maybe we'll get Major Cade. Russ Mitchell commentating for a bit would be legendary, although I don't know if that's possible. That's still pretty far in the future, so it's impossible to plan in advance, but we will try to get some guest commentators on and make it some sort of tournament. So it'll be a hell of a lot of fun. But first things first, we'll do Fixer against Pico. Sorry about that, Oak, but Plebeian is probably going to be a bit late, so as Pico also needs an early fight, we were going to do his fight first. Fixer also needed an early fight, so I ended up putting these two together. Normally I would not do that as Fixer is a bit rusty, but it is good to see Fixer back active in the community all the same. Does have some experience, so we will see what they can do. It'll be a matter of shedding that rust off. If that happens, I do think this can still be a very competitive fight, and Fixer might show us some things, especially if Pico goofs off a little bit as he sometimes does and switches characters randomly. But that is also a strength of Pico's play, the fact that he switches it up so much and uses a variety of characters. It can be his biggest weakness, but it can also actually be his biggest strength. So we will see what happens with that. Appreciate it, Fixer. We're gonna start the game while we wait for Pico. As for what will happen after USFC 200, I still plan to continue hosting. I don't plan to put a stop to it there, but we'll see what happens when that milestone is reached. That's actually a pretty big milestone if you think about it. That's 200 weeks pretty much consecutively. Rarely has it ever been canceled. It's gone on for years at this point. Pico, we need you. Yeah, sure, Bobo, you can absolutely come in the commentator cabin, which I am joining as we speak. Yeah, it'd be cool to have Bobo on board. The audio should all be working. I'll just double check as he enters, as sometimes the settings reset. Had a great chess tourney yesterday, actually. Although I did lose, I won most of my games. I ended up getting second place in favor of Piper. Piper is amazing at chess, so no surprise that he gave a lot of people trouble. I never actually ended up playing him, but shout out to Nug, who actually managed to capitalize on a mistake that I made and punish me, thus winning the game against me, which was what was important. If I had won that game, I would have won the whole thing. So it was pretty important. Yeah, it goes to show how tough of a game chess is. There was a Piper had one of his buddies on too. He used the fried liver, a very tricky, a very tricky opening if you don't know how to deal with it. But I memorized a line for it, so it was actually pretty straightforward to punish it.
tournament, you're every bit as good at chess as you are at Hellish Court.
I
At least
appreciate it.
against me. You really you put me on the back foot early, and I was in full panic mode.
Yeah. Yeah, it was for me, from my perspective, it actually was pretty grindy, but I saw opportunities to take some pawns from you, and I was like, if I just trade down to
Yeah,
an endgame, I'm gonna win. So
exactly.
that's what I
I
did.
realized that halfway through. I was like, oh god, my opening's collapsed. I'm gonna lose everything. I may as well go out on my shield. And then I realized as I was trading everything, uh, one way or another, this isn't gonna end well for me. I'm waiting on you to blunder so I can
Yeah,
make it even, let alone get ahead. But
yeah,
then it turned out I blundered because I did a big misclick while trying to trade rooks. And then I
yeah,
gave up a rook for free, and I thought, yeah, it's all over. It's over.
yeah, yeah. At that point, it's very tough, especially against an opponent who's been really tough to get any progress against, like the whole time.
Yeah.
If you're down a
Felt like
rook,
I
it's
was fighting a brick
resign
wall.
mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell
Well,
people
that's the thing.
online though, don't resign in that situation because people make insane blunders sometimes, but I do
Oh yeah,
understand.
I thought I played well. Apparently, in my match against I forget who it was, I made 4 blunders in a row, and he made 4 blunders in a row, and I only spotted one of his blunders. Apparently, I made like 4 terrible inaccuracies, and I was like, but these are good moves. And I hung my queen, didn't get spotted. I hung like a pawn, didn't get spotted, and then when the attack was in position, then I was able to make some moves.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun though. I have
Yeah.
great love for chess. Plebeian. Uh, who trained me at this game, requested that I train him at chess, apparently. So that's quite fun.
Nice. Yeah. It's the funniest blunder for me is when somebody checks the king with the queen,
Hmm.
but in doing so puts the queen in danger of being taken. So
Yes.
it's like you're encouraging your opponent to take the queen.
The domestic abuse situation, I call that. The king
Yeah.
takes the queen.
And then the best part is if they're both like noobs and they don't see it. They're just like, "Oh shit, I gotta
Hmm.
move my king," and then the game
Yeah,
slumbers.
exactly. Well, checking can be very good because you can somewhat stun lock the opponent. Something I learned from Gotham Chess
Yeah,
is that there's danger levels, which
yeah,
is where if you're in a bad situation, ignore it. Just attack the opponent and hope they like lose the momentum, and then you gain the advantage again and can get out of there.
yeah, yeah.
But
He calls those in between moves where you give
right.
a check in the middle and then you do something else, and that check gives
Yes.
you the opening to do so.
It's sort of like attacking with double intention in fencing.
Yeah, yeah. Zwischenzug is what that's called. That's a chess term for in between move. That's all that means. It's
And another
German.
German term as well,
Yeah,
much like long fencing.
yeah. Yeah, because the Germans, they influenced a lot of chess theory, so there are some strange chess terms that don't really have an English equivalent, so they just have a German term.
My favorite one is the term for when there's no good possible moves. And it's like it's got a wonderful name,
Yeah,
delightfully German and long.
yeah,
I forget what it's
Zugzwang,
called.
yeah,
Zugzwang, yeah. It's
yeah,
like, and I've had Zugzwang many times when I was getting better. It's like, oh god, it's like,
yeah,
do I lose a queen or do I lose a rook? Well, I don't like either, but it's got to be
yeah.
done.
And it's funny too, because sometimes you spend the most time thinking when you're in Zugzwang. It's like, well, you should have
Exactly.
thought earlier, but now you're like, how do I get out of this? And you're spending minutes thinking about it. And I'm
Yeah,
guilty of it
it's
too.
like
It's it's
yeah,
hilarious.
I do. Well, that's the more the emotional damage of Zugzwang
Yeah,
because it's like, how did this happen?
yeah,
When did it all go so wrong?
yeah. No Pico, by the way. Pico is unresponsive right now. Uh,
Unfortunate. He's usually quite attentive. Do we move his match back, or is it a victory via forfeit for his opponent?
we're gonna see if Plebeian's available.
Oh, I see. Well, Plebeian Pico is supposedly, according to him, one of the best Father Zero players in the server. Though, as his disciple, I'm joining your Parsec, by the way, Subito.
Nice.
Um, though, as his disciple, with a bit of bias and practice, he's now appointed me the second best Zero, as the other second best Zero left the server. So,
Nice.
Pico being one of the best Zeros in the server, though, although he plays many different fences, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's really his, like I was saying, that's his biggest strength and his biggest weakness is that he'll just switch out of nowhere, but it can really throw you off when you're on the
Exactly.
receiving end of that. And then he plays that character at the same level that is the previous character.
Indeed. Well, it's often said a jack of all trades is better than a master of one.
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
It's the other
Well,
way
I'm
around,
definitely
but-
a master of one.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a master of one, so I'm happy that is in that's in my favour. Because without Zera,
Mhm.
I'm no longer getting the top 5 in this server like I did last month. I'm doomed. I can play a little bit of Connor, which means I know one sidestep attack on Connor, and I just move in a circle until the opponent gets frustrated and gives up because you can't attack him.
Yeah. Yeah. No plebeian. Oak is definitely around, but I'm not seeing plebeian. He
Wouldn't
did say
Pavilion
he'd
be
be
at
late.
work?
Well, you see, what happened was Pico said he needed the first fight or the second fight, and plebeian said the same thing because of work. Like they needed to get their
Hmm.
fight over with. It's kind of funny that those are the two
They both didn't
people
show up.
that didn't show up. Yeah, Fixer also needs an early fight, so hopefully we can get Fixer
Well, I
somebody.
mean,
But
God closes the door and he opens a window. I don't believe in dogs. God, you know what I mean. But
yeah,
certainly there's an opportunity for Fixer here.
yeah.
Yes. One of my favourite things, and I was reading the news, and it was a review of a radio commentator who had left his popular radio show after working there 30 years, and he
Mhm.
immediately begins complaining about the hosts that take over. I like watching old people complain about things. It's very cathartic for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a sense of invulnerability
Yeah.
with them, or entitlement, that they often ascribe to the youth.
Yeah.
Perhaps earned, but perhaps not.
Yeah, depending on the situation.
Indeed. Because not all age brings wisdom. I'll tell you that much for free.
Mhm.
Anyway, have you been Subutai?
I've been
Teaching
good.
in a heat wave.
Not much teaching going on because of the summer. So
Oh, right. Well,
so
we're
we're
still
off
teaching over
school.
here. I have several teachers in my family, and they're still ongoing.
Nice. Okay.
Perhaps merely our terms have shifted around. You do have the 6 weeks holiday. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, but it must occur at an earlier date, which I suppose, given how climate change are going, might be more sensible. Have the entirety of summer off and just do all the teaching all other times of year.
Yeah. Pico is here finally, so we can do Fixer against Pico as planned.
Magnificent. Yes.
Something
I've
important
miscommunicated.
too. Radzig and Abir are the two contenders for the champion title at the moment. Something
I
funny
see.
could happen if they both lose, then there would not be a really clear contender. If that were to happen, I would probably just put all the contestants in a spinner or something, and then whoever whoever gets landed on will get the title shot. Or if there's like a bunch of people who have 2 wins, right? We'll probably do it that way.
Yes.
Like whoever
Oh,
has
I
the
see.
most like win streak, we'll put them together in a spinner and
Will the spinner become the champion or merely a contender?
actually I'll say the champion. I'd say it's the god that we all bow to. The wheel
Yeah.
is what we usually call it.
Yes. By perfectly random chance. I like that. No skill, no merit, just complete random chance. I love that. Imagine if they did
Yeah.
that in boxing. No politics. It's just all right. 15th best guy in the world. You're the champ now. Deal with it.
Well, see,
That'd be
people would
fun.
still think it's rigged, I bet, because the thing with
Oh, yeah.
randomness is that it often doesn't feel random. So you'll get situations where names get repeated and they'll be like, it's rigged. And it's like, no, it's actually
Yes.
completely random.
Yeah, that's the thing. Don't random number generators like on Google, aren't they intentionally less random to always give you a different number? Or to go
Sometimes
to
they are,
extremes?
yeah. Especially like iTunes, you know, that randomized playlist thing, that's
Oh,
not
yes.
random. Because they want to make sure you
I
get
did a
different
test on
track.
this on Amazon Music actually many years ago, and I thought it just goes to whatever your most recently downloaded or most listened to song is in the genre.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm guilty of having a playlist it called Good Shit, and it was just all the songs I listened to. I didn't cipher them off into different playlists. It was just 500 songs that I listened to and enjoy, and I was certain songs never got played. I'll say that much for free.
Yeah. Well, Pico with 3 flags back to back.
Doing very well here. In a Calc duel, no less. And these, I think, of all mirror duels, a Calc is my favourite because it's just so flashy. And you see a weak character be showed off to such excellency.
Yeah, he's a very stylish character, but Pico showing his experience, I would say. Fixer, again, he's been with us for quite a while, but he took a bit of a hiatus, so obviously a bit rusty against Pico, who's just going bananas with these
Oof.
attacks, claiming space away from Fixer and catching him in between.
Yeah, that beautiful stabs and fighting for the center. What I like about these experienced Couchdown players is that if you're inexperienced with Couchdown like me, then often you don't cancel his sweeps in times and he overswings like an inexperienced fencer. But as we see here, they're cancelling these strikes into stabs beautifully.
Yeah, even doubling up Y cuts and canceling them. There's a lot, and it's hard to keep track of if you're the defender. Pico immediately taking initiative from the opponent. That chop actually
Lovely
lands.
snap cut there.
Yeah.
Is that a chop or a snap cut? And another retreating cut
I
there.
would say it's more of a chop because I think he uses more of his arm for that one.
Yes, that's fair
I'd
enough.
say the elbow,
Oh,
it's
but
like an
punished.
elbow cut.
Out of measure and punished with a nice reward. Some steel down his throat. He won't like that.
It can be hard to tell sometimes though, because elbow cuts are like something between a wrist cut and a shoulder cut. So they can appear as though they're snappy, and they are, but they're not really a snap cut the way people think of them, the wrist cut.
I once, what I like doing, and I'm quite loath to admit this, but I pretend to be Couchstein sometimes when I can't go to bed, and I just swing my arms around like I'm Couchstein, because he's so flashy and cool. And I once did that elbow cut, and I hit my hand really hard into a wardrobe, and almost broke my thumb, and it ate for 2 days. It's okay, but you know, just be safe when practicing, kids, even if you're using an imaginary sword.
Yeah. I imagine we've all done that at some point. I do that in VR sometimes too. I do have an old VR set, and I remember I used to punch the wall all the time. Get bloody knuckles.
Well, it's better to punch the wall. At least it's more dispersed force that way. But yes, that does sound very painful.
And the controllers are actually pretty durable. Certainly the Oculus ones are. Like you see tons of marks on them, but they still work just fine. So.
They don't build them like they used to.
No.
Well, yeah, that reminds me, the Facebook ones, they're not Oculus, are they? They're the Meta ones, I think they're called.
They are Oculus because the Oculus was bought by Facebook.
Yes,
so
it was the John Carmack company.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because after they bought out by Facebook, they hid secret messages into some of their glasses where they said Big Brother's watching and we always know and things like that, ominous messages. Was snuck in on the factory line. And I find that very funny. I like to think that's a little John Carmack secret hidden there.
Yeah. Bit of a pause there. Hopefully everything's good.
Yes. And on the topic of John Carmack, I like to think, even though he definitely agreed to the buyout and was happy of it, because I like him, because he developed Doom, and have a parasocial relationship and admiration for him, I like to think he's like a princess in the tower that's been kidnapped by Mark Zuckerberg. And that's why he's having to develop for Facebook.
Double. Actually, as we speak, by the way, Fixer is starting to make a comeback. So
yes, quite remarkably so. After quite a telling start there, that second stab missing, but that certainly would have finished off his opponent.
Wow.
Oh, but the stab right through, punishing that little sidestep there.
You could say that blade beat was a bit of a Zwitchenzu, and then he stabbed. That's the cool thing about fencing and chess. They actually have more similarities than people think.
Well, the Europeans thought that chess was a good training game for the tactics of war, and they're not entirely wrong, especially medieval combat.
Yeah, like you don't really want to trade down your opponent in war if you can avoid it the way you often do in chess, but there definitely are some similarities between the two.
Yes.
The mindset, certainly, even if the way you actually go about it is completely different.
Yeah, strategic thinking, but I do agree. You wouldn't want, especially with drone warfare in modern times, you wouldn't want someone with the mind of a chess player being in charge of the military.
Yeah.
And some keen footsies here, a bit of positioning and posturing between both opponents. Both having some telling wounds and being quite exhausted. And but expending all of his similar.
Yeah.
Pecola takes the advantage. Yes. Taunting his opponent into submission there. Very well played.
Yeah, it was close though. Pico was starting to lose that round as Fixer was making a comeback, but unfortunately for Fixer, I think he took a hit earlier, and so and Calc is known for gassing out, so when he takes hits like that, it's not a good time.
Yes. As well as being the king of doubles, I'm surprised we didn't see more doubles there in the duel, because Kauk is often known for trading with his high damage range but low health. He's something of a glass cannon, isn't he?
Sometimes, yeah. And the fact that he
Coca-Cola
does
here
big
switching to
moves
Yendra.
too.
Yes, somewhat like Zera. I often describe Yendrek as a less extreme Zera. He overswings, he's slow, he's a bit of a glass cannon, and he has lots of damage.
Oh, and there's the head bug again.
Yeah,
Which it has not been fixed yet. Kubold hasn't updated the game since we last saw that.
Maybe it's intentional. He ate one too many pierogies, and he's trying not to throw up his breakfast.
Now,
Very impressive work by Coca-Cola there.
This matchup comes down to whether Yendrick can create chaos or not, or if Calc can bring order to that chaos. If he can do that, then Calc can definitely win this, but it's up to Calc to be very active. You do not want to play the sniping game against Yendrick, because otherwise your guard will be blown through.
And let's not forget the range game. Yendrick has an obvious advantage in both range and power there, which you do not want if you're fencing. You have to be aggressive with Yendrick in my experience. You got to use the fact that he lacks a guard to your advantage. Yeah. And it just makes me think, Russ Mitchell said that if he was going to be any fencer or any fencer's weapon in this game, he'd want to be the Fakosh, did he not? Yendrick's weapon. Yeah,
certainly against Sabres. In real life, the Fakosh, believe it or not, has the advantage, he said. Especially if the Fakosh user understands how to manage distance and plays that distance game perfectly.
Yes.
And he actually demonstrated in some of his videos too, like how quickly you can flow with the axe and how easily you can dominate space with it. It just makes it really rough for the Saber to get in.
And we see there, not a Saber by any means, but the straight sword struggling to get in. It's a straight sword, right?
Yeah, you can say straight sword. Broadsword is what a lot of people would call it as well, or basket hilted sword, you know, whatever you want.
Well,
Stiavana, if you're
definitions are
Italian,
descriptive.
I think it's Stiavana would be the technical term, but
right. But it'll fit.
Yeah.
Elbow cut there, as we saw before. And once again, we see Pecola here taking an early lead, feinting out his opponent constantly, but that leg sweep there, out of measure, exposing the head. Yeah, leg sweeps are very audacious to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, you have to set them up first. If you attack with them naked, you're just inviting a hit to the head. Nice stab to the head again. Same move.
I mean, on that animation there, it looked like Calc just tanked a blow to the ribs, but, you know, perhaps my eyes are playing tricks on me.
Nice exchange there.
Going for a wrist snipe there.
Yeah. Trying to hook the blade there, but Pico is just not getting it. Although it would have been awesome if he managed it there. That is something Calc has to watch out for as well. The fact that his blade is long actually means that it's easier to hook it if you're not careful.
Yeah, control the opponent. The thing is, what's interesting is that Yendrick, due to the inherent strength of his weapon, had to be nerfed simply due to the balance of the game. Like, the circling of the blade with the active parrying is something that Russ Mitchell advises you do all the time when trying to deflect sabers, but it's not something you can really do in Hellish Quart.
Yeah.
Exhaustion
certainly not deliberately, consistently, But as he said, if Yendrick had everything he could possibly do realistically in the game would kind of be busted. And the same goes for a lot of the other characters, like the rapiers, the longswords, some of the sabers even. If they could do literally everything in their tool set in real life that they can apply to this game, it would just wreck the balancing beyond belief.
Yes. Well, that's how the game was at launch, wasn't it? Where it was a few characters, but they all had countless tools.
Yeah, well, a lot of the tools are actually the same. So Barabash's moveset has not really changed much since then. It's just the effectiveness and potency of that moveset that has. But if we're talking about Isabella, though, yeah, she had a whole different moveset back then that was amazing.
I mean, while we were reminiscing, we just saw an incredible flag there, where it seemed like for once, Yendrick miraculously had an auto guard and was just able to get through, but alas, it is not enough. And Fixer takes the second round.
Yeah.
This mountain clearly being too tall for Yendrick to climb. Right. We shall see if this results in a change of strategy for either of them. Yendrick, of course, generally being the lowest rated character in the game, and indeed it does. Piccola showing off his signature style of playing a different character seemingly every round with Marie here. Now, how would you rate this matchup, Subutai?
I would tend to give Marie the advantage just because the point is a lot more nimble than Calc's, and she can fight from longer range and attack his openings really easily. And meanwhile, Calc does have better cuts, but the cuts are very wide, so you have to use them at just the right time, and if you don't, you're just presenting openings for your opponent.
Yes. Very cumbersome is how I would describe them.
Yeah. There's definitely a way forward, especially if you fight from long guard with Calc, but it's just objectively that rapier is a lot more nimble than your weapon.
Absolutely. I mean, as we see there, I mean, the Calc was able to punish Marie right at the start of the round, but he's just been unable to capitalize on it whatsoever.
Ooh.
And another cut there, and he just barely gets the job done, but it was clearly a long time coming.
Yeah, good grit there by Fixer, immediately punishing the fact that the triangle didn't quite hit properly. It was more of a graze. I think if there was a full-on hit with the point, that would have been Pico's, but he was too close.
Indeed.
Still, for credit to Pico, because that triangle came out of nowhere. He had the input queued or something, and that's what Pico is really good at.
Beautiful auto guard and defending there, but gets caught off guard. I was going to say Marie was doing a very good job at defending against those wide swings of Couchstein, until she wasn't.
Some cutting there. Yeah, both.
Oh, triangle again. Oh
Nice.
my goodness, she doesn't get hit, and she plunges in.
Yeah.
One must feel some sympathy for Fixer here, as many players have played against Marie, and often get quite frustrated by it, don't they?
Yeah, but Fixer has experience under their belt, so they know how to deal with this, no problem, it looks like.
Yeah, Couchstein's, while his movement speed is quite slow and his sidesteps are dashes are quite slow, his back and forth dashes are quite respectable, aren't they?
Yeah, especially if you chain that to the stab to the head, it can actually be a very deadly move, as Fixer has shown us.
Yeah, several times already. Oh, but that's the thing with a dash, it drops the auto guard, and you don't want to be dashing into an opponent that's both their thrust and your movement, adding to the amount of force going into your chest. Not a happy time.
Upcut
Backing off
attempt.
there by Marie. Very equal here between Piccola and Fixer,
Yeah.
as it has been in every match.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that Marie has an advantage necessarily, although I say that as Pico does a beautiful incortada.
That's an incortada. Oh, fair enough. Is an incortada just an attack you step into? What's going on there?
It's a thrust done at an angle where you cover yourself and move to the outside.
I see.
Like that, yeah.
Calca's one of those.
Pico
but
just
it's more
tried to
of a...
demonstrate it there, yeah.
Oh, I see. Wow. Don't let our commentary put you off, as the commentator's curse is often the undoing of many a champion.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta be careful whipping those cuts. Nice attempt at a blade beat, though.
Blade beats can be very effective. I'm speaking as a Zero player, of course, who has quite the decent matchup into Marie, even after the buffs. Due to the ease of range stabs and blade beats, you're quite well equipped to take her on, as a Zero player at least. Fortunately, the same luxuries do not go to Calc, who's...
Nice.
Oh, I don't think his auto guard is good enough to passively deflect the stabs.
Not reliably, no. With a lot of cases, you have to long guard. And that's something people make a mistake as well, is they think they're long guarding a thrust sometimes, but what they're actually doing is they're long guarding and then throwing an attack as the thrust is coming in. So something worth keeping in mind is you actually lose the long guard properties the moment you launch an attack. So if your blade is in the way, you'll still block it, no problem. But if it's not, then it'll slip in and hit you.
I've had that happen to me plenty of times, where I often find I get so frustrated by Marie and their defensive playstyle sometimes that I end up just launching stabs over and over, hoping for doubles and that they connect, because one of Marie's weaknesses is that she's something of a glass cannon herself. She's very low health.
Yeah. And a nice chop there. That's a good way to beat the rapier as well. That's something Cal can do, is try to blast through her guard if he gets close enough, especially after dealing with an initial stab.
He opened himself up there, but was able to recover.
Yeah.
Circling of the blade there, not quite getting anything done. Left foot forward again. We'll see if we'll go for that attack. Oh. Very wisely switching between the foot forwards here. The fixer is. I presume he's trying to keep the opponent guessing, but well, they guessed right in that situation.
Yeah. And it's down to the
I
wire.
think as
Credit to
good as left
Fixer.
foot forward is, I would say that it leaves him quite vulnerable to stabs because the auto guard on left foot forward is just so weak.
Yeah, the
As good
value
as it
with
is.
it is the attacks you can throw, so you gotta set them up. Like the chop is
Yes.
where left foot is from left foot forward. So
Yes.
if you
it gets
hang
more
out there
range and
too
power.
long, you're right though. It's not something you want to hang out in forever. Especially because I
That was
think
my
for Pico, it gets pretty obvious what you're trying to do if you sort of sit there with left foot forward long guard. Like odds are
The
you're
whole time.
probably looking to throw the chop. So
Indeed. Well, that's what I tried to do once in an Olympic tourney with Kalkstein, and I don't think I won a single flag because I thought, well, it works against the bots. Surely it'll work here. It did not work there.
yeah, I mean it has a reputation for being a good move and rightly so, but if the opponent knows about it, it's not that hard to stop.
Well, the opponents are saying GG, but it's not over, is it? Come on, get back in the round, everyone.
I thought
We've
it was
still
best
got.
of 5,
Yeah, it's a best of 5. It's not first to 2. You lazy yobs. Get in there, Fixer. What are you doing? Fixer, I'll have you, Fixer. Get back in there, you lazy so-and-so. We've got a tournament to run. All right, back to Kalkstein. We'll see if the Fixer can make a comeback here in their comfort zone, as Spakola is perhaps throwing them a bone. Despite winning the last match, they change once again.
Ooh, nice cut there.
The first flag there going to Spakola.
In Cortada.
Oh,
attempt.
but
Nice.
yeah. I call that that combo's called the con man, but I like to call it the window cleaner because you go up and down.
Shot.
Ooh, elbow cut there, right to the chest. He'll have some trouble breathing.
Yeah, it'll certainly. Oh, and then that stab to the face that definitely caused some cranial trauma there.
He'll have some trouble
Resulting in
thinking too.
Yeah.
Oh, and another just very swift elbow chop there, making excellent use of it, and it's going right through the guard. Well, one of the things I like about Kalkstein wearing white is that the decals on him, I think, look the best in the game. Like when he gets hit twice in the chest, it's like an X marks the spot, and it's very satisfying to kill him.
Yeah.
I know I sound like a psychopath, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. We all like to see gore from time to time, I think, if we like this game.
You do. Yes. Like, I'm always shocked though by the Tavanaski when you chop his head in twain and he just goes limp. Or,
Yeah,
turgid
that's
and then
gnarly. That's like half sword levels of gore.
Yeah. By the way, I played a bit of half sword, and oh my goodness, the enemies in this game coming from Hellish Quart, they do not give up at all. Like you
Yeah.
could chop their arm off, and it's like, right, I'm Rocky Balboa. I'll just switch to the other hand. They
Yeah.
don't surrender.
If you want them to surrender right away, the best way to do it is to knock them over and then place your blade on their neck. Then they're pretty much guaranteed to
Yes.
give up.
There's psychology with that. And one of the things as well, if you're unarmed, if you like hold your chest up, not chest, if you hold your fists up and like ready to launch a hook, that
Yeah.
makes them surrender as well. Like you're about to take their lunch money. I love aspects about that. About
Yeah.
half sword and
Yeah, but it does
That game was
vary
just
the
updated.
degree to which they'll give up or not. It's really nice.
yes, I often spot that there's psychological differences between the various bots you fight. They're not always the same. Sometimes they're more aggressive or passive. It's like a slider.
Yeah, and I think it's based on tier as well. Like the 9th tier fighters are more skilled and more likely to get aggressive, whereas you've got the beggars who are not terribly good at
Yeah.
fighting in general. But when you're in the
There
beggar
are-
tier yourself, you don't really notice that because your Willy is also kind of weak and not as strong as you could be. So
But though thankfully they fixed that. I remember the absolute terror of playing on a potato laptop at launch.
yeah,
And exhaustion there, allowing Fixer an
Nice.
opportunity. Very nice, and he's made an excellent comeback here.
yeah.
Only put 2 more flags to just stay in the game. But
Absolutely.
anyway, back to half sword.
Oh, nice.
Good comeback. Very good comeback there. That was a very swift.
Yeah, let's focus on this
retreating.
because this is a big moment for Fixer right here, and there it is.
And Fixer gets it done. Very well done. And interestingly enough, everyone that's on the right side has won every single one of their rounds. So perhaps that's the blessing, the right side blessing.
Sometimes that happens. But a lot of people prefer the left side. I don't think it matters that much once you get experience, but it's a pretty
Yes.
normal thing in fighting games that people
Mm.
prefer the left side just because that's the side they practice the most on. So
Indeed, it's the default side, and on top of this as well, I actually find being on the right side is good against certain shield characters because you
Mhm.
see the exposed part of their body and not the
Yeah.
shielded part, so you can see where you're trying to strike. But on the inverse of this, and a change of strategy here from Picola, who goes up the tier list to Yan quite wisely,
And he did a nice
trying to
feint
close
there
out this
too,
set.
which overwhelmed the guard. There's a punch. Wow. Okay.
Followed up a much stronger strike to the head afterwards.
Yeah, Pico is going bananas with Yan. Yan has a great variety of moves to pull from, so no surprise somebody who's a wizard with cancels like Pico can go nuts. And now he's tired, but he
That's
does
the thing with a
recover.
tired opponent. You never quite know when it's safe to go in because they can recover at any instant.
Yeah, but Fixer's doing the right thing, battering the guard down to get the stamina back down, but not quite able to close it. Pico able to... Wow, okay.
Just barely get out of the way there. For a moment, I was wondering if he was just stringing him along. But
Yeah. Yeah, when Yan dashes back, sometimes his blade goes up, so he was able to just put it in the way at just the right time to make it annoying for Fixer to finish it, which is funny.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, and a beautiful combo there. The left foot forward into right foot forward stab. Beautiful work. That little combo. He's so fancy, Kalkstein. I just love watching him. You very rarely see him represented as well.
Ooh,
Ooh, the good command there.
Pico cancel
And
at the wrong
exhaustion
time, I
taking
would
hold.
say. Well, but Fixer can't... You gotta be careful not to exhaust yourself dashing in as well, but eventually he does
But he
get
gets
it.
there.
Yeah.
He walked away with some tetanus from a cut, but he gets there.
Sidestep there. Nice block actively with the retreat X by Pico, too.
Yes, both players fighting wonderfully. The rounds being equal, they really do tell the whole story of how close this is.
Yeah. Nice combo there.
Ooh, the con man.
Calc does have a slight reach advantage because his blade is straight and a bit longer, so good usage of that by Fixer to maintain pressure. And that stab to the face,
beautiful
Pico has
dash
to
in
be
there.
ready for it to stop
Yeah,
it.
and Fixer, surprisingly, from being behind and set to lose, he's sort of screaming ahead with the lead.
Yeah, that
Not
was a
that
good
Pico's
void
taking
and
it lying
stab.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he keeps on faking out that sidestep there, but it's not
Oh.
working out for him.
Yeah, Pico didn't commit enough there, and that snap cut is punishable by a cut upwards to the hand, so very nice by Fixer.
You
Nice
could say
play,
it's a
Pi-
crime punishable by death.
Indeed. Nice combo again by Pico.
Yeah. Elegance versus raw speed. We'll see who comes out on top.
Ooh.
Good blade beat there.
Yeah, Fixer almost got that hand snipe again. Pico
Ooh,
not
the
able to
sidestep.
finish it this time, but nice try.
And a blow to the back of the ribs is sure to be painful.
Gotta be careful with long
he's not
guards
giving up.
sometimes, because that can make your hand a target against somebody like Calc. But it does allow Pico to do stuff like this, the wraparound, and we're down to the last flag. What more can you
Indeed.
ask for?
For all the marbles.
Fixer really wants that kill.
Absolutely. Both players are desperate here. Neither
Yep.
one giving an inch.
Oh, nice try
Oh,
by
boy.
Pico, but it's an exchange instead of a hit.
I thought for certain that was going to result in one of their deaths.
Oh, and the back
and the
Y.
snap cut.
Yeah. Nicely
Very well
done by
played. Pico finally coming out on top. But that is not to put Fixer down. He or she played beautifully well. I don't think I've seen them play before, but they played very well. And Picola is one of the best players in the server, and well played to both.
Yep.
Picola takes the bout, 3-2. How long has the Fixer been in the server? Quite a while, I imagine. I don't think I've seen them
Yeah, I
before.
think like 2 years or something like that. It's been
Yeah,
quite a
right,
bit,
yeah.
so.
That's the thing. I keep saying, "Oh, this is a good first appearance from a fighter," and then it's like, "Oh no, they've been in here for 2 years. You've just not been looking." It's like, "Oh yeah, fair enough." That happened with someone who joined like 6 months ago, and they say every single time I fight, you say it's the first time I'm fighting. And a beer joked I had dementia, as he enjoys joking about and being a clown. Anyway, I'm getting a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll probably grab a coffee myself, but I'll make sure these two can get in and fight first, and we'll go from there. I do not want to hold us up, especially with Plebeian needing to go fairly soon. But great fight so far, guys. That might have even been Hall of Fame worthy. It was that good. And the complex tactics used by both of you were really impressive. Well, I put plebeian against plebeian. Interesting. Just absent-mindedly typed his name twice. There we go. Yeah, so we're probably going to say Yazuk duel, believe it or not, as plebeian at least was talking about playing Yazuk, but it's possible he'll switch to Zera at some point as well.
Yes. Oak, of course. Is it Oak playing on the left?
Plebeian on the left, Oak on the right.
I see. Well, Oak, of course, being the resident, I don't think it's any great debate to say that he's perhaps the best Yasek in the server.
Yeah. But there's one for plebeian.
That doesn't
All
stop
right.
plebeian.
I'll be right back. I'll leave the commentary to you for now.
Thank you very much. Well, I've just got a new refreshment of a Vimso drink, and I'm ready to commentate once again. Keeping my throat slaked in such contemptuous and hot weather is essential. Here we see no shortage of exchanges with the Yasek, who has an excellent auto guard and snappy and quick attacks. And we see Oak take a lead after taking a dolorous blow to the chest. Double there, as to be expected. They both are the same character after all. And now Plebeian appears to be taking a far more defensive posture. Attempting to counter hit, but his sidestep being punished by a simple neutral strike. 2 cut, I believe. Given the length of these exchanges, as beautiful as they are to see, I imagine this match will go on for some great time. Plebeian there getting a wrist sniper. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't tell you how this match is going to go. It seems dead even at the moment. Although one man has to come out on top. Good retreating cuts there, protecting his arms from nasty sidestep, but it results in an exchange before Plebeian enters the fray and gets a kill. Couple of cuts there. Ooh, and a nasty punish there from Oak. With a nasty pommel strike to the head before a devastating double strike to the chest. Lays his opponent flat. Double there. I'm sure there'll be plenty more of those set to come. And Oak here showing his experience by winning a couple of flags consecutively, as you would expect from him. He's certainly the man to look out for. Oh, and the trade there. Even though Plebeian was injured, he was able to kill his opponent, but he could kill him. Most surprisingly, I thought the moment I heard the bone shattering, that was Plebeian going to be losing out, but he redeems himself and ties up the set once again. Leaping strike there, and some retreating cuts, neither finding their mark, but a nasty out-of-measure blow, being punished within a blink of an eye. Little message from Kubold there in the bottom left, telling us off for playing multiplayer, as is to be expected. Ooh, and some beautiful weaving around there and footwork from Oak. Dashing to the side of his opponent. Ooh. And as perhaps to be expected, despite a very good performance from Plebeian, Oak here takes the first bout. Now, Super Time, my good friend, isn't here to update the players, so it is Plebeian on the right and Oak on the left. No change in strategy here for Plebeian, who would rather try his luck with his new plaything, Yasek, than stick to the tried and true Zera. Whatever he thinks is best, or whatever he will find most fun, is certainly the strategy that he will pursue. Oh, they're taking the first flag in an ominous omen for Plebeian. A double there, as is to be expected. It seems that while Oak is attempting to be fighting for the centre, his opponent, now adapted to his play style, is weaving around him with countless sidesteps. We shall have to see if this Plebeian is able to adapt himself. I'm sure she blows there. Oh, almost a double. They both score a strike there. Exchange of blows here. Neither one wanting to give an inch. Some very defensive play from both of them, as they both enter left foot forward stance at the same time. Perhaps it's an imitation game. They're both copying one another. Not willing to give the opponent the advantage, but at last, we see where imitation gets you, to a double. Good wrist snipe there from Oak. Not enough to put his opponent down, but certainly enough to put him under pressure. Oh, and an excellent sidestep there from Plebeian, weaving around his opponent's guard and giving him a good tickle up the back before destroying his shoulder. I don't think any amount of massages will put that pain to rest. Oak responds with a quick wrist snipe of his own. And despite the fact that there have been sets that have ended in this time, we are still at 2-1 in terms of the scores, showing just how close this bout is. But as I speak about the length of this match, our flag is concluded very quickly in the favour of Plebeian. Good stab there, but still punished by a retreating strike. Another attempt at the sidestep, but not quite finding its mark, as Okanelix very wisely keeps his opponent in the centre. Oh, excellent sidestep there. A blow to the leg, coming in through the front door and then having a visit upstairs with a nice blow to the cranium. Leg sweep out of measure there, but it goes well for him. I mean, often a leg sweep out of measure is the worst possible move he can make, but Plebeian makes it work. Perhaps baiting his opponent in with an invitation. Plebeian here just barely taking the lead in this set for the first time. No doubt he's very pleased about that. But Okanelix won't take it lying down as he responds with a victory of his own. Defensive posturing from both players here. And an attempt at a sidestep getting punished by Okanelix, who initiated his attack first. It's close. An excellent uppercut there from left foot forward stance. It would have been followed up by a stab, but it was not needed, for his opponent was already dead. Oh, some excellent backing up there, some flashing manoeuvres there from Plebeian. But none of them quite finding the mark. One has to wonder about the stamina after so many flashy attacks. That's not of concern. Okanelix fighting for the centre here and taking all the space. And using that greatly to his advantage, as his opponent runs out of room to back up into and becomes exposed. Excellent punish there from Plebeian. It's all down now to the last flag, and it appears the master of his craft, once again, retains his crown, as it is 2-0 to Okanelix. Plebeian on the left, Okanelix on the right. And it appears we're not getting a change of strategy from either. Plebeian sticking it out to the end. Though he's just losing by a hair, that does not mean that he's doing badly by any estimations. He's putting in a remarkable performance, just against the best player. Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
Plebeian lost again. It was Okanelix took it both times, but it was very close.
All right, so the names should be correct now. The names were reversed before.
Yes, weaponized laziness.
All right, so Oak has 2 flags and is looking to close it out, it looks like. There's another.
Yeah, screaming ahead with an early lead here. Plebeian will want to get a foothold of his own. Defensive posturing here.
Good feints by Oak. You can definitely tell he's the one with initiative right now, as Plebeian is forced on the defensive.
Indeed.
Unsure of what Oak will actually commit with when he does those feints. And it's easy to say you should
grab
call him out on the feint, but Oak is capable of reacting to that and hitting you in the head, so it might not be so simple for Plebeian to get offense going of his own.
Yes, very unfortunate stagger animation there. The sword naturally just barely catching his opponent's attack after getting walloped in the head.
Nice.
And then Oak responds with a wallop in the head of his own, screaming ahead. 4-0.
Good exchange there, but Oak still, it feels like Oak is ahead still. Yep. And there's another flag.
By a great margin, no less. By a great margin.
But sometimes, like, even during the exchanges, you can just tell who's ahead, like who's leading the exchange, who is calling the shots, and very often that's the person who gets the advantage.
That's the thing. The unfortunate thing about trying Yasek for the first time in a tourney is that you don't want to be fighting the best Yasek player, perhaps in the world. which
Yeah.
Plebeian is at the moment.
Oh,
Oh, and a very
Still no
aggressive
kill.
entrance there.
yeah, he has
A jump in.
guard recovery is very fast, so he can sometimes guard in situations like that. I know really wants
And
that grab
again,
again.
his guard recovery. Once again, blocking his opponent's strikes as he fires off countless blows trying to kill him. None of them quite landing. Oh, good feint there on the stab. Baiting his
Focus
opponent
bloodied,
in.
but Pleb still has yet to score a single flag in this round. Oh, and he got away with the
jumping
grab
strike.
attempt. He still blocked it.
Somehow not able to punish. And a double there. No doubt Plebeian will be very frustrated with that, as he was probably
Yeah.
owed a little victory there. While it's unlikely that he can make a comeback, it's still every possibility. And an
Nice.
excellent sidestep on the stab there.
Yeah.
With a nice can opener straight to the face.
Yeah, the sidestep's the thrust, I should say, is powerful, but it can be sidestepped if done correctly. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and again, sidesteps there. It was a little messy, but Plebeian, I would say,
the
got
job
a
done.
clear angle all the same, so it makes sense that he got it.
Yes. The first time in this round, Plebeian has won some consecutive
what?
flags, and already he's getting punished once again.
Yeah, that punch was
boxing.
very unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to box his opponent rather than sword fight him. It's not worked out well before, and it's not working out now.
Oh, and he whiffed
Oh,
that
dear.
one. Nice try, though.
And despite, while the score may be 3-0, that doesn't tell the story of how close this bout was. 3-0 to Okanelix, who takes the bout, but Plebeian did play very, very well.
Okay, Nug.
And with that, we are on to our next match.
Yeah, Nug against Dauntless at this point. Not Nugget, Nug. For some reason, it pinged Nugget almost. And then Dauntless.
And we are in for a treat here, as Dauntless often plays Yendrek, which is no doubt very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Been listening to a bit of David Bowie lately, and
Mhm.
having a great time with it. He's a wonderful
Nice.
musician. It said he passed in his 50s, though he was rather giving up the ghost in the end.
Yeah.
Word on a Wing is the song I was listening to. Stations to Stations is the album. And I have to say, despite the fact that he was so high on cocaine that he doesn't remember making it, it's easily his best album out of a lineage of incredible albums.
Mhm. Yeah, I've listened to him a bit. Definitely a great musician.
He's one of my favorites, personally. He was the first musician I got really into, I will say.
Somebody's having a bit of trouble. Dauntless
Yes.
on the right.
And Nug on the left. The king of Indonesia, because he's also the only player from Indonesia, I think, in this server. And Dauntless. I'm not sure what is the nationality of Dauntless. Do you have any idea, Subate?
I don't know where Dauntless is from. Maybe it's on his profile.
Oh, we could
North
check.
America, actually. North American. So
Fenrir is
either
apparently
Canada
another
or the
player.
US.
I see. Nug has informed me that there are other Indonesians in this server. They just don't live in Indonesia, which sort of defeats the purpose of that statement. Regardless. Dauntless Dreams here, responding. Perhaps we will learn about his nationality. If he's Canadian, that fits, because there's mountains in Canada, and I suppose there's mountains in America as well. But
There are, yeah. The Rocky Mountains extend down to the US as well.
yes.
And
Yendrek
there's all
just,
other mountain ranges too.
Yes. Like the
But-
mountains of trash. Anyway. Nog here, entering with Laszlo, and Dauntless, of course, sticking to his unorthodox man of Yendrek, which he has done, well, relative to how everyone else does with him, remarkably well. And already exchanging blows. No, but miraculously, Nog takes the bout, despite being exhausted and on the brink of death. Getting a bit carried away there, Dauntless. Already, assuming a more defensive posture. And aggression writ large. As Jendrik explodes forwards with force and gives Dauntless the bout.
Often Laszlo actually does pretty well in this matchup because of how quickly he can close the distance and bring the pressure, but Jendrik that can keep range against him can still do some work. And he actually, Jendrik and Laszlo have pretty close to the same foot speed, believe it or not.
They
So
do.
Jendrik does
And
have
Laszlo's
a surprising
entire
ability
strength.
to get out of danger.
I see. Laszlo's entire strength is his agility, is it not? As he often has to actively dodge out of the way of his opponent rather than blocking with his pull.
It's about playing the in and out game, exactly.
But if he can't use that tool of mobility against Jendrik, he's doomed.
Yeah.
He'll need to be quick on his feet.
Nice chop there.
The thing is, the lack of damage against Jendrik of all characters isn't the end of the world for Laszlo, even though he is dying over and over here. Because if he can just pick apart of his opponent repeatedly, then really damage doesn't matter if he can keep him stunned.
Yeah, definitely. Problem is, Jendrik can stun lock you too, especially if he gets the elbow, that dreaded elbow strike in, and then follows it up. So.
Well, we see there. Nasty blow to the back of the jaw. I would not want that to happen to me.
Dauntless is doing a better job of controlling the range, so Laszlo is not getting many opportunities to land said hits. Even that stab didn't kill, which is a shame.
And that's the thing with Jendrik. People write him off, but his health is actually somewhat average to above average, I would say, especially compared to Laszlo, something of a glass cannon.
Alright, let's see if Nug will change something. I thought Laszlo was a good pick, but Dauntless is just playing Jendrik really well, and a character that might be theoretically a good pick can still struggle in that type of a situation. Jendrik, it's like he's put all of his points in the offense, so... Which is funny, because Laszlo, in a way, is kind of like that as well, but he doesn't blast through your guard like Jendrik does.
Yes.
So
I describe Laszlo and Jendrik as roommates in the apartment that is low tier. It's a basement apartment, and it has no windows. Anyway, clumsy metaphors aside, we come on to the second match here. A change of strategy from Nog, who sticks to his tried and true main of... Kalkstein.
Ooh, good exchange.
Kalkstein, of course, I think is, despite his low speed, a remarkably good choice against Jendrik due to his high damage, being able to often put him down in a single blow.
Yeah, I've certainly made it work well. You just have to be really active with Kalk. You don't want to get complacent and let Jendrik try to snipe you out because your guard will not survive forever against that onslaught.
Exactly.
You got to use that long blade to your advantage.
And you can't tank his blows. I think Jendrik consistently has some of the highest damage attacks in the game.
I would say so, yeah. Certainly when the axe hits properly and doesn't graze, which it usually, if you're in the right distance, it usually will not graze, so...
Well, as we see there, he launches himself towards that stab, perfect spacing, and slices his opponent's head in two.
Nice. Just goes right in, a little bit too close for the stab, I would say. He didn't get the full damage out of it, especially because he ate a hit as he was landing his own. Oh, and the shaft
not
was
quite
in the
able
way.
to follow up.
Yeah.
But he can't just let him be, he's got to follow it up.
Yeah, downward cut probably would have worked better. Sometimes it's about learning the follow-ups, depending on what matchup you're in or what character you're using.
Yes. Dauntless here, screaming ahead with the lead, attempting to go in with a grab, but failing.
Yeah, I think that was a push,
but already,
but yeah, it did fail, and there's a hit.
His opponent is exhausted.
Oh, tries to hook,
I don't believe it.
He actually hooked the wrist and hit it instead.
Yes. Nog here, under the cosh. I think this is his, despite the fact that I've seen him in the server many times, I believe this is his first ever USFC?
I'm not sure. He hasn't been in the USFC much, so he's definitely new to this event, without question.
Indeed, well, certainly shows as Dauntless takes the bout and puts the set at 2-0, sorry. It is my first. He has confirmed that it is his first USFC, so
yeah.
let's all be extra nice to him.
Yeah, we'd definitely love to see more of him. Laszlo again, even though it didn't go so well, I guess he felt better in that matchup than he did with Calc.
And I have to say, he certainly looked better with Laszlo as well.
Yeah, and I think Laszlo does a little bit better despite being low tier. I think in this particular matchup, it's almost like he's built to chase Jendrik down. So you just got to make use of his attacks properly, his combos, and his sidesteps too. People often sleep on Laszlo's sidesteps.
Indeed. Something I must say is that Laszlo has quite a few decent matchups against characters, typically against slower ones, which isn't much of the cast, but Zera as well is someone who struggles against Laszlo, as you say, his advanced speed is magnificent at punishing his telegraphed attacks and awful recovery time.
Yeah.
Good aggression there from Laszlo.
Yeah, and I'd say there's certain combinations that Nug could be using more. I don't want to say which ones just yet. I'll wait till the fight concludes, but if he used those
give him too much of
combos,
an
he'd have an
advantage.
easier time. Yeah.
And now we see Dauntless here entering long guard as he attempts to head off his opponent's stabs, but it's not enough, as the blowout of measure seals his fate. And again, that neck, I mean, I can't tell. I mean, is he bogged or is he just excited to see me?
That's a good question. It happens at random increments, it seems. I can't even figure out why it's happening. Like, usually with bugs, there's some kind of trigger, but with this one, I'm not sure.
Very good.
It could just be that his muscles have been edited somehow, because Kubel does all these tweaks all the time, and so
he does.
Extending.
He tweaks it to death. Good retreating cut there. Although Samuel had a bug like this as well, where I don't know if you remember this, but one of his side steps caused his neck to do the same. But that was far more consistent than just him walking back and forth.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what move it was, but it was very funny.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah, because his neck went way further out than
yeah,
Jendrik's does. It went out like his neck extended 3 times over, and then went back in.
Both are a little low in stamina, having taken some hits. That shot, there we go, good follow-up.
Nasty stab there out of measure. The stabs are very good at getting Jendrik, as he is poor auto guard defense against them, but Laszlo's stabs are no better, as he's quickly being undone.
Oh, doesn't follow it up.
To the head there.
Okay, nice. He kept going. That's
just barely able to follow it up.
Yeah.
Nug's doing far better on Laszlo than he was on Capstad. I will say that much.
Yeah, and I think it's again down to the mobility that Laszlo has.
Excellent blows to the chest there, waiting for his opponent to mess up before entering.
Oh no!
Super Mario
threw it away. That flag right there.
He did.
Just went for the kill, but
I like calling that attack the Super Mario. He does a funny job, doesn't he? Yeah. Comes down with a hammer, which Mario did in his first arcade appearance.
Oh,
and an excellent comeback from Nug, who barely inches his way back into this game. 7-6. Very well played to him.
Very cool under pressure there, especially that jump. That was a perfect counter on his part.
Indeed.
Let's see. Probably gonna stick with Laszlo. Yeah. Nice hit. We might be able to get you a fight luck, but we're probably gonna put you at the back of the queue. But yeah, there's definitely space. It's just that some fights have to be done first.
Yes. Apologies for my absence. I'm sure I was noticed. I was just getting a snack to watch this wonderful entertainment before me. I feel like a Roman emperor eating chocolate and watching 2 men fight to the death. Roman emperors probably did that at some point. Oh,
Nice.
very good punish there. While he's not attacking often, he is exerting excellent pressure over his opponent, isn't he?
Yeah.
Nog, I say
Yeah.
as he loses that flag. Commentator's curse. But
Yeah, you don't want to overdo
still
it
true.
against an opponent who has more reach than you, who you can't really hope to block.
Mm.
But I get what he's trying to do with the in and out game of flash though, and if you do it just right, it's a matter of finding that opportunity though, and they both have taken a hit.
And he gets a good snipe there, though. Of course, Jendrek, you don't want to trade with old Jendrek, because if he stuns you, he can get you.
Oh, nice.
Oh my. Just barely out of the proper spacing there from Dauntless, who was mere inches away from chopping off his opponent's hands. But alas, in a zero-sum game such as this, close enough does not apply.
Hey.
Oh dear. Dauntless won't be taking this lying down, as Nog is on the pinnacle of tying up the set, and he does tie up the set, as it's now
Nice.
2-2, and he's set to make a comeback. In contention to win this, from the pits of despair to nearly winning. And the same combatants once again, neither one wanting to yield. Blow to the head there, but a graze. And even though it would no doubt hurt in real life, Jendrek's, his neck went all funny then. Jendrek's dull thwacks, while they do drain quite a lot of stamina, they don't deal any damage, do they?
Yeah, they just do damage to stamina if it's not an axe head hit.
Mm. Gotta say, Nug's found his footing in this match now with Laszlo.
Nice.
Ooh.
Tried to avoid that there, was moving back, but it just wasn't able to get far enough away.
Yeah. Smartest thing to do to a run-in is to attack into it, though it's very hard to see coming. The hanging guard there, finding great success. Oh, but the thing you see with newer players is that they'll get an idea in their head, and then they'll play it out beforehand out of measure to see if it'll work. Like right here, we see Nug is repeatedly going for side steps, and it gets the job done.
Yeah. Ooh, good moves back there. That would have been devastating if it hit. You saw how the blade got knocked aside.
Yes.
Good exchange here. Nobody's been
Yeah.
hit yet. which is
Aggressively
incredible.
fighting for the center
Nice.
and winning the center. Very good accuracy here from Nug strikes as well, as he keeps on splitting his opponent's cranium in two, but Dauntless himself has certainly adapted to his opponent's play style. I say as he grabs thin air. This is much closer than it was last match. Ooh, Dauntless there. A mere flag behind his opponent, nipping at his heels. Nog, but a flag away from winning it all from the depths of depravity.
Yeah.
Snatching a victory from the jaws of defeat.
She's very impressive here. That thrust was deflected by the half there, and nice follow-up by Dauntless.
But
Gotta be
Dauntless won't
careful
let
sometimes
this lying
with those
down.
thrusts, because the half
Dauntless now
himself...
down.
Oh, nice.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
good.
Just saying that Dauntless very eager to close us out.
Yeah, and this is again down to the last flag, which is incredible. Love to see that.
Yeah. We've seen several fights go the distance today.
There it is.
There you go. Dauntless just barely able to close it out, and he wins about 2-3. But for a first-time performance, Noga, I think you did quite well. And one has to also consider if he was suffering with lag.
Alright, Platypi against Radzig. Luck, if you saw the message, I can put you against a beer for an earlier fight. But otherwise, okay, he said probably not. All good.
Nice. Nog informing us that there is fortunately no lag for him, despite his the remote nature of his residence.
I will say also, Luck, if somebody doesn't show up, you'll get priority. So if you want to hang around a little bit just in case, you can do that as well.
Yeah, it's heartening to see so many people turn out to the USFC, especially after well, the server seemed to be going into something of a winter or a hiatus where there weren't many tournaments going on. We see here our next combatants lining up to the plate. Radzig versus Platypi, two very good players. Wasn't Radzig in contention for the title at some point?
Yeah, Radzig's in contention right now, actually. So this is a very important fight for them.
I see. Well, don't fob it up then, miss. Or else. There'll be hell to pay.
Moment. Actually, Radzig's on the left, and Platypi's on the right.
What's interesting here is that on this USFC of all USFCs, we see a reversal of fortunes where the right side has taken 10 rounds, but the left side's only taken 3.
Need keyboard, of course. You've got it.
Let's see here. A Jakob duel. Now that would be rare. After the character was released, he was written off as low tier, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but in a mirror match, it doesn't much matter, and they're both flexing on each other a little bit, waiting to draw their swords. Sort of a Western, or you could say a Kurosawa style duel, where you wait to draw your weapon to kill your opponent in one stroke.
Similar to Seven Samurais, and we see no shortage of flashy attacks there.
Oh.
Both getting wounded and slowing down. And not plebeian. Pico? Platypi. Platypi takes it first.
Platypi against Radzig, yeah.
Platypi on the right, Radzig on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scaling up to each other once again. Neither seems to want to draw their blade at the start of the match, both seeming to want to style on their opponent with an open sheathed attack.
Yeah, there's a hit to the face, but not a kill. Nice stab.
Yes.
From Platypi.
Is it just my delusions, or does it seem that when he's injured of all characters, Jakob appears to slow down the most?
I think he's just slow to begin with. Because he's a zoner character.
I suppose so. I must say, I do approve of his dress, however, as garish as it is. He has the purple trousers on, which must be very expensive in his time.
Yeah, they would be. Also, the butternut yellow boots as well. Or you could say orange, that's kind of debatable. But, you know, it's a butternut color. Is also really expensive in this time period.
Oh, nasty double there. Not quite sure what Radzik used to kill him. Perhaps mind tricks. Ooh. That's the thing. That overhead swipe, the forward one on the keyboard, is as powerful as it is and as good as a punish tool it is. It's so well telegraphed that it's quite easily single tempoed, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
In Cortada 10
It doesn't really launch.
Mhm.
Oh, go on. It doesn't really launch into any good combos either. The old overhead swing. It's more of a punishing tool.
Yeah, and again, it plays into the fact that he's a zoner. He loves punishing you and then reaching really far to hit you.
Samuel used to be like that until he buffed him for no reason.
Yeah.
Remember when Samuel was balanced?
I think he still
I
is
remember.
balanced, honestly. I don't think the change was that massive.
Yeah, that's. I just like complaining. Yeah, Pepper Ridge Farm remembers. Oh, nice stab there.
That would have been cool, yeah.
Dancing with Death. That was always my favourite to start, and we see there, very good punish.
They dash
Onto
forward
dashing
too.
there.
Oh, and a punch
Oh!
after drawing it. Wow.
Very nicely done. Bit of boxing there.
Yeah.
Or pugilism, I should say. Is boxing bare knuckle is called pugilism, technically.
Yeah. And it would have been called that
triangle.
back then too. Boxing wasn't really a... It was a term in the 19th century, but
Yes.
not in this time period.
More in the Victorian times.
Yeah.
And we see Platypi takes the first bout. And I do wonder if...
That's where the term Boxer Rebellion comes from, by the way. It literally comes from boxing, because they saw the martial arts the Chinese were practicing at the time, and they thought it looked really similar to boxing, so they called all the rebels boxers.
Oh, I see. Yes, because famously monks are known, Buddhist monks are known for their unarmed style of combat, aren't they?
Yeah, and
As
people
referenced
often
in
assume
properties such as
Chinese
D&D.
traditional martial arts are like wushu, where it's all flashy and there's no like actual substance to it. But that's more like dancing. That's not their actual martial traditions. Their martial traditions
That's more of a
were much
traditional
closer.
performance
Yeah.
from Wushu.
Yeah. So the martial arts that actually work from China, they actually have a lot more similarities to Western martial arts than people give them credit for. There's some differences too, of course, but like they add their own flares to them. There's different philosophies, but there's a lot of stuff that
There's a lot more spinning
applies.
attacks, I will say. That's something I do know in Eastern fighting styles.
usually covered spinning attacks, not, you know, stupid Hollywood spins, but absolutely, they do seem to have quite
Not a
few
Legend
that.
of Zelda spin. If a Link from the Legend of Zelda spun in front of me, I might not have any sword fighting experience, and he might be that chosen one, but I'm having him. He's not getting past me if he does one of those attacks.
Yeah. Some of those spins are for countering spears too. Like you cover yourself and you knock the haft aside, then you spin to power up another swing to displace the weapon or land a hit right away after.
Yes. And there's some interesting spin attacks with spears as well, where you jam it into the opponent, and then keeping the haft of the weapon on them, spin around in order to gain the leverage to lift it up, and then do a telling strike to the head.
Yeah. They also have Inquartada. Well, it's not called Inquartada, of course, but it's kind of an Inquartada equivalent. They step a bit differently, but the idea of sidestepping and getting a stab offline is also in Chinese Jian fencing. And they also have a lot of saber similarities too, with the Dao.
They call it Inquartada, but with a Chinese accent, is I think how it's pronounced in Chinese.
Nice dash there by
I won't
Radzik.
do the Chinese accent. I
Lunge.
was tempted to, but I have some restraint.
Yeah, that that is some dangerous waters there. We might get banned if you do that.
Yeah, I know better. I can just think about it and smile to myself. And not that I hold any begrudging sentiments to any population.
Of course
But,
not, yeah. But some people take it
just
the
enjoy
wrong
the
way.
humor.
Yeah, yeah.
They do, they do.
Oh,
Just smiling to, I can't commentate now. I'm just smiling to myself, thinking about the joke I could have made.
there we go.
Anyway, but Radzik avenges their loss there. Very well done.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lunges and dashes that Yazlik does, I think, do a good job of shutting down, especially if you try the draw. in the middle of the fight, I feel like Yazik is always faster. And it's not just because Yazik is fast, but because objectively speaking, even for Jakub, if you want the fastest attack you can get, it's always going to be swinging and doing a snap cut with the blade already out. There we go. We see the switch there. Tarnowski. Yeah, Platypi, one of the best Tarnowskis on the server, I would say. A little bit slept on, because he usually only appears in the USFC, but he's always done really well.
Yes. I would consider him at least a top 6 character, Tarnowski. He's like the middle of A tier.
Yeah. Those powerful cuts are very formidable. They cover a lot of distance. He's got good HP. Some clear drawbacks to that power as well, but he has the most tricky timing, I dare say, of all the characters.
Indeed. You sort of, if you're uncertain of what he has to do, you just have to give him the space and wait for him to whiff. Because he's so powerful that you can't even afford to engage or single tempo him.
Yeah, but if you're too defensive by the same token, he does have moves that can reach past your guard and hit you anyway, so you have to constantly play the positional game with him.
You got to be vigilant. And that's
Yeah.
the thing, he has the health to trade as well. The only thing he really lacks is speed in walking.
Yeah, like right there,
But
they
his
both
dash is
got
more
a
than
skid
make
on
up for
each
that.
other, but Tarna clearly got the better end of that, especially with Kel's stamina, but still was able to come back from that nice sidestep by Radzig.
Yes. And punishing the sidestep from his opponent, no less.
Oh, push.
From her opponent, sorry. Although Radzig as well, change of strategy from Jacek, who was previously successful, to Kalkstein here. Quite interestingly. Tempted to stab that. I wonder why she changed to Kalkstein.
Probably wanted something different. Isabella, a lot of Isabella mains would say she's kind of dull to play lately, so.
Well, she is very strong. I'm certainly not complaining that Isabella players don't want to
Yeah.
play Isabella. Yes. There's more Isabella players than there are stars in the sky, is, I believe, a scientific notion.
Nice
Oh,
stab.
an excellent sidestep. Was that in Cortada? That was, right?
I'm not a rapier expert, but I would say, yeah.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
He stood to the side and did a stab. That's
The idea
basically
is
it.
the same. It's like he's stepping to the side and stabbing, so.
Yeah. In practicality, perhaps not by definition.
Yeah, that is the cool thing about sidesteps in this game that is simulated pretty well too, is you can use them not only to get distance in 3D space, but you can actually use them to close in on an opponent, especially if your opponent is circling you, to close in faster than they expect it. So that's another
Yes.
good way to use them.
We did see an Incortata there once again, but it didn't find its mark. But we did defend him, defender. So I'm sure Radzig is no doubt happy about that.
Yeah.
Taunting her opponent with an open guard there.
Oh, and there's
and
the
we
skull
see the
cut in
Gauss
half
system.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
And winning the bout, no less. That was like a Mortal Kombat finisher. Very well played.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what would happen, which is the scary thing about it. I have actually looked at, machete wounds because I was morbidly curious once. I don't make a habit of doing that, but I just happened to come across it. And yeah, like the head literally gets cut in half just like that. It's insane.
Mm.
And then the survivable wounds, and there's even like Napoleonic depictions of it. You'll see like there's cuts in the skull that people have survived, which look incredibly
Wow.
painful. But if it doesn't hit so much of the brain, obviously that's a concussion, that's some brain damage, but it is potentially survivable. And it still looks really brutal. Like the bone literally can get chipped or cut into.
Yeah. And you do see that. The
Yeah.
scars do heal over time, though, fortunately.
Yeah. And that's a glancing injury, can still chip the skull. Like imagine how that would feel. I can't imagine. And that's considered a glancing blow compared to what can happen to you.
Cormac McCarthy, the writer of The Road, actually talked about a head injury where he said it was a low strobing light in a series of bombs, which is a very eloquent way of saying you get knocked TF out.
Mm-hmm. Something people underestimate as well is the blunt impact of a stab as well. That's why stabbing is sometimes banned in certain competitions. if the blades do not have enough flex to them, because if you don't band them, you're basically concentrating a lot of force. And even a blunt, point or a stick, if you thrust with that into somebody's head, like that's gonna rattle the brain quite a bit.
Yeah, that's CTE waiting to happen, because a thrust with a weapon is always, even from a weak individual, going to be stronger than a punch.
Yeah.
And it's like they say, what generates more force on the ground, an elephant walking or a woman in a high heel? And the answer is a woman in a high heel, because all the force is concentrated in a single spot.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
That's why,
The surface area matters a lot.
Yes.
And there's actually a source I have on the Discord, it's pinned in the fencing martial arts, and it's a surgeon talking about different sword wounds, and he says even stabs that do not penetrate the skull can still be very dangerous because of the concentrated damage that can happen to the brain.
Yes.
Can knock
Well, I know what I'm
somebody
doing
right
if
out.
I get in a sword fight.
Yeah.
I'm going straight to the face. Bang. Wallop. What a video.
Yeah, and an issue that stabs can have is they don't necessarily have stopping power. Obviously, they're lethal, but say you hit the body, there is a chance that somebody might be able to fight through it because you're not cutting
Yes.
anything off, you're not causing all that much gruesome damage, so they might die in seconds to a minute, but they can still be a threat to you in that moment. But if you
Yes.
stab somebody in the face, there's no way you can really fight through that because your body's telling you, like, this point really sucks, and you're forced to move back physically and
Yes.
just mentally as well. It's terrifying to sort of press against
Yeah.
it. So no matter how strong you think you are, a stab to the face is a much more
No
disabling
one's invincible.
hit. Yeah.
Exhaustion.
That's why
there
medieval
taking hold.
sources, they always say stab to the face. And it's not just to get past armor, it's because that's the best way to shut somebody down and cover yourself at the same time.
Azira does that with one of my favourite stabs of his, where he quickly enters the roof guard from the point
Yeah.
guard and does a stab to the face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bread and butter technique for longsword. Obviously, Zera sometimes exaggerates the stab to the face, but it's very much a thing.
Oh, that works quite well for him.
Yeah.
The thing is with exaggerated blows is that they do the same job of a regular blow with more power, but if you miss, there's a lot more at stake because you go
Yeah.
far further.
Absolutely.
He's
Radzig
shown
about
well in his kit.
to win potentially if he keeps this up.
I thought Radzig was a woman.
Oh, might be, yeah. We both kind of
Radzig is
fumbled
a woman,
that
I'm fairly
multiple
certain.
times, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I've made mistakes, of course.
Yeah,
But
it
as
happens.
commentators, we aim to be inclusive in all matters. You know, in a sense, commentators are oppressed, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause people are
We talk
constantly-
a lot.
Yeah, they're constantly
Yeah.
policing what you say. If you make a mistake, they call you out. Especially,
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a sports commentator. Like,
Oh, I can. It's the easiest job in the world. I was joking, by the way, when I said commentators are oppressed. You took that seriously. That was a complete joke
well,
on
in
my
some
half.
ways, though. In some ways, though,
Yeah.
I think there is truth to it.
I suppose. I mean, you have a fair bit of power, but some of the things that sports commentators say, you can very clearly tell that they're just background noise and no one listens to them because they
Yeah.
just are utterly incompetent. In football, especially, you should take a shot every single time a football commentator in English says pockets of space, because if you drank every time that would happen, you would die of liver poisoning. I'm not
Yeah.
joking.
Our hockey commentators are a lot better for the NHL, certainly,
Yes.
is what I've been told. So
But
they're obviously not perfect, but they're a lot more professional. They focus on the play, the players, and whatnot. So
yes, they don't get distracted and talk about other things like we do, which I find entertaining personally, and no one can
Yeah.
stop us.
yeah, well,
Anyway,
hockey is
that
so
was a-
fast paced. If you get distracted and don't talk about the game, you miss so much. Kind of like this game, actually. But
Yes.
and sometimes even more so in hockey, it can get really, really fast paced, and suddenly you don't know
Oh,
where the puck
absolutely.
is if you're losing focus.
Yeah, there's a very funny moment in British football where there was a commentator, Chris Kamara, who was quite famous for saying, as the entire crowd was cheering before him, he says, "Okay, who's just scored?" He said, "I don't know, Jeff. I haven't been watching." And it's his job to watch the football, and everyone's just laughing at him that he doesn't know what's going on because he wasn't looking.
Yeah,
And he
it's
gets
down
it
to the
wrong
wire.
who scored and why they scored several times. And it's a very funny clip.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to post that. I've actually watched a lot of soccer fails too on my spare time.
Yes.
And
That's
it's not
probably the most famous commentator one I can think
Yeah.
of.
I always get a kick out of like somebody gets nicked a little bit and then they play it up. I get why they do it, of course, but that's
Yeah.
one reason I'm not a fan of
It's
soccer
deeply
or
cynical.
football.
I don't like. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. The exaggerated wounds. Whenever I see it on the television, because I have family who quite like watching football, despite the fact that
Yeah.
I broadly ambivalent towards it. I often say put them in a ring with a boxer and see if they flail around that much. Then.
Yeah. Certainly at its best, though, it is a good game, though. Like, there are definitely moments that are nice, but I just feel like hockey has a lot more action, and...
Football
you
just
know,
goes on too long, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's like, they go about in the midfield for 20 minutes, and it's like, all right, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm looking at my watch half the time in football, and then they score a goal, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas hockey, the puck can be on the other side of the rink, like, very, very quickly. And suddenly it's like the
Yes.
other team is on the offense before you know it, so...
Indeed. And
Which
if I'm
I
not
get-
mistaken, it's
Mhm.
2-2 at the moment, right? Between
Yeah, it
Platypi
is,
and
yeah.
Leipzig?
Yeah, we're down to the wire with this one.
Yes. I'm not even sure who's on the left and who's on the right anymore. They're both playing the same character.
Platypi's on the right.
I suppose that's in keeping with what you said about you talk too much and lose track of what's going on, which
Yeah,
has most
that's,
certainly happened here.
That's classic USFC, though. That's pretty, normal for us.
Well, relatively speaking, I think we somewhat talk about what's going on in the match. Before I got here, I don't want to slag off other commentators behind their backs, but I would listen into the commentating, and as I was fighting for my life, they would be talking about Naruto or some completely utter,
Yeah, that
completely
sounds about
devoid
right. Yeah,
of logic nonsense. And
yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I missed when the Kung Fu was more realistic. It's like, I mean, please at least give me a hint or something. I'm fighting for my life. You know.
Yeah.
It did soothe the nerves a little bit as a first-time player, because if they're not talking about your performance, if you're doing badly, it doesn't put salt on the wound, so to speak.
Yeah, I hear you.
Which is why I was extra certain to be a bit biased towards Nug there, as to not put them under too much pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice exchange.
I will say, as a commentator, I'm very biased towards certain players. I do choose who I want to win at the start of the match, and then I voice everything from their perspective.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Which is why I say, oh, so-and-so is fending off their opponent, when in reality, I should be a bit more neutral, but I'm not going to be. You can't make me.
I do try to be neutral, but I'm human. I'm obviously guilty of rooting for people, especially underdogs or buddies and stuff like that. It's just how it is. Ooh.
You root for me quite a lot. You always talk from my perspective whenever I play, which I'm always appreciative of.
Yeah, I'd probably do it subconsciously. Nice, Platypi
Yes.
scoring one here.
Well, I have my natural charms. Although Platypi here, let's focus up now, is screaming ahead with a slight lead here. Every little bit counts, of course, as both are on the precipice of victory. And Platypi here, merely a round away from taking us all.
Yeah.
We shall have to see if Radzig takes this lying down. I don't believe she will. And
Nice
sidesteps there.
Good clashes
Defensive
between these
posturing
two.
here.
Oh, and
Oh, and an excellent
Great
leg
mix-up.
cut.
Yeah.
But not enough to kill, and the snap cut wins the day. Very well played for both fighters, and Platypi takes it 3-2. Anyway, I think my fight's up next, so I'm going to alleviate myself, and then I will return. But either way, I'm leaving the commentator's booth, so kick me out.
All right. Oh, I think I kicked you from Parsec as well, just absent-mindedly. You can join back. Kate Bobo is out of the commentator's booth. Let's get Bobo and Nex in here. Yeah, that was a great fight, guys. We're seeing a lot of close ones this time that are literally down to the last flag possible in a lot of cases, so that's good to see. So Radzik obviously is not a contender for the champion at this point. Abir is looking like he will be the contender, but he does have to earn it. He has not reached that threshold yet. Having a 2-win streak, not a 3-win streak. Xian Clark, if Xian Clark was here, would actually be the very clear contender, but she is not active at the moment, so. Okay, as for the sides, it will be Bobo on the left and Nex on the right. And if anybody needs keyboard, I believe Bobo does, but if Nex also needs it, let me know. Yeah, I'm waiting. I don't think Nex needs it. Let's go. Bobo left. There you go. And next, no surprise, going with Isabella. That is his main. Against Zara, very good matchup. I would say this could honestly go either way. This has been a long debated matchup. Perhaps objectively, Isabella is S tier and Zara is more like A tier, but I do think a good Zara can give Isabella a lot of trouble, so this is one that can go either way. Nice. Oh, Bobo with a clear lead so far. Very patient, both of them. But Bobo is able to set up single tempos really nicely, and that thrust there was able to cover him from the high guard cut, actually. Nice back Y. By the way, like I said earlier, if Abir does lose his fight, we will put names in a wheel among those who have an equivalent score, and we'll see who gets to challenge me from that pool. I'll do it on stream so that you guys can see it, for transparency's sake. But we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. So far, it is not guaranteed that we'll have to do that. And Bobo is ahead by a little bit tired having taken a hit, but looks like Nex was not able to secure that hit yet. Nex is going in with a bunch of Y cuts, but he's not. He probably should have switched up the angle there. His opponent was ready to block, so if he did like a B cut or an A cut, it would have worked better. Especially targeting the hands. Nice sidestep there. Beats the blade, but not close enough to actually hit. Ducks under the stab. And there we go. YY. Good exchange of cuts there. There we go, Nex eventually getting that hit. And there you go, stab to the face there. Obviously a little bit risky, but Bobo was able to secure that all-important hit to the head. Switching the names. Then you guys can switch. Nice, we're using the same characters. Big cuts there, back Y. And yeah, keeps going, keeps the offense going. And his opponent tried to punish that, but failed. Nice by Bobo. Nice A cut there by Nex, though. Nex is starting to come back alive a little bit, which will be necessary against Zera. Zera does enjoy a slight reach advantage, both because he has a lot of bigger cuts, but also because he's a little bit taller. I'd say the sword is also a little bit longer, but not by much. Realistically speaking, this isn't true in the game, of course, but Zera's sword also can cut further up the blade because it's a lot broader. It's clearly more designed for cutting and slashing. Isabella's is more a compromised design. You can obviously cut with it really well and thrust with it really well, but it doesn't particularly excel at cutting like Zera's blade does. Zera's blade looks a lot more like an earlier sort of 14th century longsword, whereas Isabella's looks more like a 15th century longsword. Although you do get longswords that look like Zera's in the 15th century as well. It's not like they stopped being made, but Isabella's is definitely more of a typical later style longsword. Which is a neat detail on Kublev's part, by the way. This could be a surprisingly old sword that Zera has. Nice. Switch up after the cut there. Bobo securing the hit nicely with that, as his opponent was not ready to blade beat or long guard the attack in time. And Bobo is looking to get a decisive win here unless Nex changes something. I got pinged. Good exchange here, but Bobo is ahead by 1 already. Good sidestep there, attempt, but Nex is able to back off just in time. Big slash by Bobo there, a little bit of an invitation. Nex doesn't quite bite there. And actually, Nex is getting tired. Bobo on the attack there, trying to get the guard down, which is a valid strategy, actually. If your opponent is tired, each hit on your guard does lower your stamina a little bit. Not by necessarily that much, but if you're visibly starting to get tired, it can make a big difference. But you do have to be careful, because all that time you're spending hitting the blade, obviously is time you're spending not hitting your opponent, or threatening to hit your opponent. Oh, and there we go, he's getting tired. Seeing that mechanic in action a little bit there, but Bobo is not so tired that he cannot recover, so he does manage to do so, but the sidestep was a little bit of an overextension. It had worked previously before, but this time not so much. Thrust attempt, and then a back Y. Thrust again, this time it's beat down, just a little bit. Really subtle blade beat there. But it was a blade beat all the same. Wide swing there, but instantly punished there. And there's some... Oh, back Y. And his opponent's a little overzealous there. Kept pressing the Y button instead of switching it up there, and Bobo was able to secure that one. Thrust attempt, resulting in a bit of an exchange. Bobo getting a bit tired from that, actually, although he has not quite taken a hit yet. It's just from the volume of attacks, I suspect. The thrust is deflected, and they once more engage from range. I dare say that's kind of what Zera wants, though, having the reach advantage. And 2 good hits there. Bobo just making sure his opponent's good to go. Looks like he is. He just is taking a bit of a pause after taking a hit, it looks like. Thrust attempt, covered thrust there, nicely done. So Nex is not able to reach the head in time with that cut. So there was no double. And a bit too wide there by Bobo. Nex is able to immediately punish that. Nex is doing better this round, but it still feels like Bobo's a little bit ahead as far as the initiative. Ooh, and there we go. Nex is able to punish it this time. Looking to prove me wrong. And Bobo still has multiple chances even if this round is lost. Ooh, and a big whiff is punished instantly. Next, keeping it simple. Punishing his opponent's mistakes here. Pommel strike there as Bobo panicked a little bit, throwing a bunch of back Ys, and nice job there, waiting to get close before launching the offensive. And that pommel strike was beautiful. Plebeian in the chat, rooting for Bobo. Okay, let's see it. Is Bobo gonna be able to win it, or is Nex gonna be able to make the comeback? Nice hit there, punishing the stab. A bit of an overextension by Bobo, which I don't blame him for. It was working earlier, but this time Nex was able to keep his cuts more tight and punish the thrust. Nice. Yeah. Feels like Nex, as a plebeian is saying in the chat right now, is reading his opponent better now. And Bobo seems to be panicking a little bit. Nice attempt at a counter thrust, but back Y is able to set it aside just enough such that it's not a hand hit, but this time he is able to punish a stab by Nex. Nice back Y preemptively there to hit the hand. And a sidestep by Bobo crashes through the guard. Somehow the first hit didn't actually do damage. That was really weird, but the second hit, all the same, was more than capable of landing because he set aside the blade. So good on Bobo there. He had a clear opportunity, and it was good that he made the follow-up. I'm glad that that initial blade beat still created that opportunity that he needed. big slashes by Bobo, going a little crazy, but if he does it at the right time, it's actually very effective. Back Y. I thought I saw a head hit, but Bobo didn't get damaged for his trouble. Isabella's head twirled a bit there. But that's just, you know, Hellish Quart shenanigans. We expect that type of thing. Ooh, close range, and Bobo powers through the guard, but he's tired. That is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. A little overzealous to finish it off, but it looks like he spent a bunch of stamina there in that engagement. So, it's a very common thing. You're trying to finish the fight after getting such a beautiful hit, and if he had more stamina, certainly he could have, but still, Bobo is in the fight. It's a more even round, but Bobo still has the match point. But there we go, there's a cut to the hand. Thrust there by Bobo, nicely done. Bobo with a nice feint, then he does a nice upcut to the hand, and Nex was not ready to block it. Nicely done. That feint paying dividends right there. And we don't see that false edge cut very often, but it seems to be very effective when used at the right moment. But is Bobo going to be able to convert this to a victory? It's not looking so clear, as Nex was able to get a flag right back. So a simple punish, and there's another simple punish there. Bobo, again, the strategy there was good, but he was out of measure, so he was not able to land a hit. Unless Nex essentially walked into that cut, but he knew better. So we are down to the wire. A very easy mistake to make under pressure. Let's see it. Is Bobo going to be able to still win it after giving away 2 rounds? Or is Nex, with his reads, able to convert this to a win, this comeback? Getting Bobo to block high with the bait. Bobo doesn't quite bite, tries to stab to the hand, but nice follow-up with the back Y. Right when his opponent thought a punish window was there, he said nope and back wide immediately. Just creating a wall of steel for his opponent to try and overcome. But this time the thrust was a little bit of an overextension. His opponent is now ready for those, it looks like. And Isabella, out of all characters, probably does the best job at fighting for the center. So if she finds a really good counter to some thrust like that is a little overcommitted, then you gotta watch out. And Isabella has counter thrusts of her own as well, which can work in this matchup. The thrust might need to be timed better to be used as a counter itself instead of just a naked attack. Ooh, that thrust though, it's a little harder to read, so nicely done by Bobo, getting close and then throwing that stab. Not quite able to kill because there wasn't a headshot, but all the same, a nice hit. Down the road, if Bobo is patient, and that first hit for some reason not registering, but the nice thing about it is it beats the blade, crushes the guard, and then there is a second hit incoming. So Bobo did great there, immediately capitalizing on that opportunity. But Bobo does seem a lot more jittery than his opponent. I think that's why he's giving up some flags that perhaps he shouldn't be, but it happens. Nice follow up there, catching the blade first and then a stab when his opponent did not expect it. He wasn't throwing that combo a lot lately, so his opponent wasn't quite prepared. Does get a bit of a blade beat, but he was out of measure. So unfortunately, Bobo had no chance of landing that. and Next was ready to punish that. And that's the danger of going for blade beats. If there's not a threat behind the blade beat, then your opponent can wait for you to overextend and then punish you. But if Bobo was closer by the same token, that same follow-up would have landed just fine, as we've seen before. So it was just an issue of not quite being in the right distance. Bobo does get a nice hit to the head, though. It is by no means over. Going with low guard here. Goes for a thrust right after. Actually a smart idea, but his opponent is out of measure, and that stab was thrown kind of naked. But perhaps Next didn't expect a second stab, so it did actually work really well. Good pressure there. High guard attempted there, but nothing ends up coming of that. And there we go. This time the false edge cut. Beautiful upward cut to the hand and a nice follow-up. We're again down to the last flag, which is insane. This has happened so many times this event. Feels like every fight, not literally every fight, but pretty close to that, has resulted in a similar outcome. Ooh, and the high guard this time, Next was able to do a little feint and then launch it, and it actually was able to hit but the back Y by Bobo. Bobo still secures the win after all of that drama. The back Y, as his opponent was a little bit overzealous to finish the fight. And Bobo takes it. What a twist and turn this fight was, but Bobo still gets the win despite the fact that his opponent was starting to make something happen there. Okay, let's get Captain Adler and a beer in here now. I bet you both are ready. It looks like a beer is online. And I think that's a quote for the USFC wall right there by Bobo. I will take a screenshot of that for Oak later. Because we have that in the USFC stats, if you guys aren't aware. If Oak is paying attention, that might be worth posting right there. I will save that for sure, if he doesn't notice it right away. But yeah, that was an amazing fight. Okay, Captain Adler is here, just waiting on a beer. There he is. And I'll invite Bobo back if he wants to speak about his match, but that's up to him.
Jesus fucking Christ. I feel like I just did a surgery. Oh my God, Next, very well played. You had my heart pounding. You had me punching my own hands repeatedly. And punching the air. Oh my God. My quality of commentatorship is going to decline massively as I come down from the adrenaline spike of having to come back there. Oh my days. Jesus Christ. I was going to crash out so badly if I lost there. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you slipped that clutch back Y cut just when it mattered there. And
Yeah.
your
I'm a
opponent
come from
managed to get
behind
a
type
hit
of guy.
too. So that was quite a close one. It could have been his in some alternate universe very easily. Okay, Captain Adler
great
gets the
player.
beer. This one will be very
He's-
action-packed.
Yeah, I'll be another champion here. Oh my God. Oh, I don't even want to look at the game now. Jesus Christ. I'm going to have to
Nice
turn away as I
sidestep.
talk.
It's all good.
Oh.
I'll be right back. I'll leave the commentary to
Oh,
you.
and
At
he's
least
leaving
do
me
your
to
best.
commentate. All right, fair enough. Right, so we see Abir here, former champion versus I don't know who. Who's he fighting? Hang on. Who's on the left? Captain Adler. Typically a host of many of the tournaments, but by no means a bad player. Very good player. But Abir, of course, is a cut above, as he's the best Barabash in the server, and in my view, one of the best. Perhaps top 3 in the server. But regardless, that doesn't mean that we get close games. Because on any good day, anyone can win. Oh my goodness, that match. Jesus Christ. Oh, it brought me to the edge of tears. Oh. Oh, the fact that it almost slipped away, but I got it back. Grid Square, if you want to join, I mean, I think Subutai's gone away. Oh, a pause here. I wonder what's going on there. Bit of a lag spike. A beer flashing forward, Captain Adler flashing forward. Of course, Captain Adler being a local German, and I don't know what nationality a beer is, but he's vaguely European, so they shouldn't have too big of a lag spike, or at least have very similar Wi-Fi to one another, as Subutai is in Canada and is a similar distance from both. We see lots of trading here on the inside, done by Captain Adler, who's no doubt using the strengths of his character to his advantage. Having the highest health of any of the Saber characters. If anyone wants to trade on the inside and trade blows, it's certainly Tavanaski. Whereas oh, excellent sidestep there. Barabaj proving why he's not to be messed with. The two fighters here, both brothers in A tier, as they are considered some of the best of the game, but not quite the pinnacle. Oh my god, that fight. Oh, I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks to it. I don't like it. I don't like getting flashbacks to it. You're opening me up. I don't like it. Anyway, interesting combatants here. Some sidesteps there. Not quite finding their mark. A very good exchange there. Not resulting in a hit.
Alright, I'm back. That was a beautiful exchange there. Captain Adler literally having to wrap his arm around his head to block one of those cuts. That was crazy. Back X. That's really a good move for Tarna as well. Underrated input for a lot of characters, actually.
It is. Of course, Abir now adapting as he usually does. Typically, against a new opponent, he might drop a round or two, but he always makes a comeback.
Yeah.
We saw this most of all when he hosted a tournament and lost initially against Okanelix, one of the best players in the server, before coming back and giving him a resounding thumping of his own. And we see that in microcosm in this round right here. Is he's learning his opponent's weaknesses and adapting quite beautifully. Good double there.
Yeah, and that chop there for a beer earlier landed because Captain Adler was tired there. It's quite a debuff when you're tired, even if you're not actually doing the tired swing. In the tired state, you can still easily fall victim to cuts. And there you go, the YY combo able to land for a beer. Snap cut there, a beer getting the sidestep. Or it's not really a sidestep, he kind of sidewalked a little bit and got the snap cut. Nice. Captain Adler taking that hand. Barbash, his guard is, you know, it's kind of average. It's not particularly good. It's not particularly bad, but it does have to be said that his hand is one of the spots where you can really land hits on him that he might not expect because he has less hand protection. Ooh, and this is
coming down to the wire here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too.
Both combatants are even. Another attack just glancing on Tavanaski there.
Oh, beautiful.
But Captain Adler just barely inches the first round.
And this is what I like to see. I put these two together thinking they'd be very evenly matched. And obviously Abir's got to prove his title shot. He's got to be putting against somebody tough. So I'm glad Captain Adler is
Abir here in the USFC chat requesting, as it is right to do so, for a European host. With the implication that there is a lag, making it more difficult for him to play. I can't host. I'm playing on a weaker laptop than usual. I borrowed my dad's, and I had to get signed up on him, which was a ball ache in of itself. But I got it done in time. I didn't. I only had RSEC installed about 10 minutes before the tourney began. Abir here posting a crying emoji in the Discord as he's very upset.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be able to find a way through. He always does.
Oh yeah, he's been
this
doing really well so far. He's a fast player too, sort of helps him think ahead. I think at least, even when there is lag, he moves really quickly.
Very adaptive on top of that as well. Singing his praises there. Although commentator's curse as Captain Adler takes the first flag and an ill omen for his opponent. Oof, I finally calmed down from that match. Very good sidestep from a beer there. Oh my god.
Yeah. We're probably gonna, I predict we're gonna see one down to the last flag again. Because we've been seeing that every single fight, almost. So.
That was a beautiful snipe there from the long guard though, the old overhead shop.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see the Thunder Punch. That's an attack you never see from old Barabaj.
Yeah, it's a risky one to try against Tarna here, who creates a wall of steel with those attacks. But Abir actually, it looked strange, but he did actually throw the Thunder Punch. So although it looked
Thank you,
odd,
Abir. Thank you.
he did force.
I
a
probably
double
planted
with
that
one.
idea in there, but he did force
Yeah.
it. Thank you very much. That's style points. You get a 10 times multiplayer for that.
Oh, and there you go. He
Stopping him right in his tracks there. It looks like Tav hit the emergency brakes. As he got done in the head.
nice hit. A double. A double, and those cuts are dangerous. They're very hard sometimes for Bara to fight safely, but Abir's doing a good job. He's got his foot on the gas pedal, despite the lag, which is working in his favor. It might actually make him a bit unpredictable sometimes. And it goes to show, especially of a character like Bara, who's really all about, I would say, keeping the pressure on. It goes to show the value of being the one on the offensive. Obviously, counter-attacking does have its merits as well. There's times where you've got to lock in and play the counter game. But there are also times where being the one who has the foot on the gas pedal is also advantageous, depending on the situation and the characters. Oh, nice. With Bara, if you're caught flat-footed on Tarna, though, it's a bad time. You do not want to be on the defensive A and also in his measure, because Tarna does a great job, actually. Those sidesteps might look slower, but they cover a lot of area. Nice,
And they have a mighty
matching
impact,
Abir.
as we
Yeah.
see here. I mean, he
Yeah.
very rarely needs 2 attacks to get the job done.
And people are saying, like some people were saying that Tarna's a weak character. I say that's BS. As somebody who's
Well,
played
one
this
person
matchup,
was saying it. We're not
Yeah.
going to name him, but
yeah,
you know who.
we won't, but yeah.
You get into
Tarna
arguments
doing
with him
really
quite
well.
frequently. You know?
Yeah.
It's like 1% of the Discord chatters make up 50% of the chatter. It's a fake statistic, but one that could apply.
Yeah.
And
But
it's all whinging. He loves a good whinge.
Regardless, Tarna is proving to be a really good character in this event.
Oh,
Oh,
an
he
excellent
blocked it.
leg sweep there.
The left foot forward guard, in some ways, does leave Tarna more exposed, but it sometimes, I think, helps him with those high attacks. So Captain Adler
It
did
does.
good, but the pressure was still too much. At the end of the day, Bara was quicker, and he was able to keep the pressure on and eventually still get that hit. Which, if you're
Another thing-
tired, is very dangerous position to be
Yes,
in.
another thing Abir is doing here is he's going for the legs in these last few flags very well, getting a few snipes there and slowing down the efforts of his opponent.
Yeah.
And we see there he's picking them apart beautifully, powering through despite the apparently Dolores and no, not Dolores, ponderous lag that he was apparently dealing with. Although Abir, of course, as is tradition, typically likes to blame lag when that isn't the culprit. Anyway, as we see here, a change of strategy as we see Abir stick with Tav and his opponent, Captain Adler, change to Jakub. And God bless him, but I think he's a lamb going to slaughter.
Yeah, we'll see. He chooses not to draw right away against Bara, especially. It might be quite risky, but
A bold choice, Cotton. We'll see if it works out.
yeah.
And we see Abir here favouring against this most slow of opponents. The snappy cuts, the uppercuts, and the overhead chop.
Yeah.
As he
There we
muscles through
go.
the guard there. Yeah. Where would you put him on a tier list? I know we don't do rankings, and in this game we like to say anyone can win, but
I think he's B tier, really. Maybe low B
Really?
tier. Yeah, I don't think
I
he's A
agree
tier.
low. I don't agree B tier. I think bottom of the barrel, personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for that, but I do think he brings more to the table than Hassan. Hassan is just
Yeah,
weak.
that's true.
And then Sava as well. I think he at least does the zoning game better than Sava. So I
Did you see
tend
that?
to
He
rate
did the
him higher
thunder
than
punch then and
Sava.
stopped in midair. He
Yeah.
can fly.
Yeah, you can do that.
Sorry for interrupting you, but
No, it's all good.
Barabaj is secretly Superman. Just without the super strength or invincibility, he can just fly a bit.
Yeah, good exchange here, but a beer keeps the pressure on.
Good for a beer, not so much his opponent.
Oh, and yeah, that's that is a risk of keeping your blade sheathed, is that your opponent can try and rush you down. Again, the thunder punch. Yeah, this plan of waiting to draw the sword. Maybe Captain Adler doesn't know that you can press A, hint hint, to draw your blade right away, but
Yes. You're like the fairies from The Legend of Zelda Tattle. Although if Link was getting this badly, I might say, Link, what the fuck are you doing? You gotta focus. You gotta get yourself together, lad.
oh,
Ooh.
Yeah,
Beer
Link.
here dancing over his opponent as he runs in with a thunder punch, getting his skull split in twain, but still killing his opponent.
yeah,
And
he's
kills
too
him with a
slow.
thunder punch.
Yeah.
Much to my appreciation. I'm loving the thunder punch.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's just a matter of physics, really. If you're spending time drawing the blade, that's time that you're not spending able to block or to attack in that moment. So no matter what Kubel does, that's always going to be slower than simply throwing a quick attack and trying to go in. So in a lot of situations, it might be better to have your sword ready in the first place. Those cuts can be surprisingly fast, but they're always going to be slower than the alternative, like a snap cut or something.
Indeed. That change of strategy there looking like a dire blunder for Captain Adler, who no doubt is regretting every life decision he's ever made up to this point. I'm exaggerating, but only slightly.
Whoa, the leg void there. Fancy by Captain Adler, and his HP allows him to weather the storm just enough, and that's what Tarna
Yes.
does. His power as well really helps him in those situations.
Yes. I remember when I used to call Tarnavski Tavernavski, and Tavernavski, of course, is the word for shit in Polish, apparently, which sort of reflects what I think about fighting him. He's very frustrating to fight with those trades, potentially.
Is it shit in Polish? Because that's
That's what Max told me, and he's Polish.
Okay, so because in Quebecois French, there's a very similar word, tabernacle, like tabernacle. That's what that literally is, right? But it's used the same way as shit, so people often translate it as shit. Like you'll say
he's not a nice
tabernacle
man, is he?
when you're saying shit in Quebecois French specifically. So
I see. Do you think he'll ever add an ahistorical Quebec fencer to this game, Kubold? There's no demand for that, other than you?
yeah, I mean they just see themselves as French at this time. They're just starting to colonize that area. So
Oh,
like,
really?
The beginnings of colonization are happening, but there's not a lot.
Oh yeah, that was the
going on.
1600s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It took a century for America to get its independence, and that sort of thing.
yeah. And it was mostly the French at this point. There wasn't a lot of like British
And the Spanish.
colonization going on just yet, but it's starting to happen.
The Portuguese were the first to do it. They kicked off the Age of Exploration, as it was called, and the whole tragedy of colonization that went with that.
Yeah, and the
As they
Spanish
invented
not far
triangular
behind.
sails.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And they went all the way around Africa and got to Sri Lanka and did despicable things there. But they did leave some nice architecture behind, so I suppose not that bad.
Yeah. I wonder if Captain Adler deliberately threw a fight to make it go to the last round. That's my theory right now if the Yaka pick, but we'll see.
Potentially putting pressure on the opponent and baiting a certain commentator into roasting him for his decisions, perhaps.
Well, in a
That's
way,
some
it does
depth
put pressure on the other guy if you make it go to the last round after they've had success. Because it's like, well, now everything can be thrown away so quickly.
Yes, I agree. It's very difficult to keep your composure under such conditions.
Yep. And Abir is known to crack under pressure. That is something he's been known for with his anger issues. By his own admission, by the way. That's not me just roasting him for the sake of it.
And I do enjoy roasting him for
so-
the sake of it, so, you know. I'm definitely the bad cop in this situation between the two commentators.
Yeah.
So is it 2-2 at the moment? I thought it was 2-1 in favour of Abir.
It is 2-1, but it could be 2-2 is what I'm saying if Captain Adler wins this
Oh,
one.
yes.
So he could be deliberately like taking a loss to bring it to that last round, which can happen
To
surprisingly
string his
quickly at
opponent
this
along.
point. Yeah, a lot of cuts there. Abir has to be so careful. This is why I call this matchup Warrior versus Rogue, because Bara has to do a lot of moving to stay out of range of those cuts. And there we go.
Yes.
Captain Adler takes it this round
You
anyway.
mentioned Warrior versus Rogue there. I think to myself, in D&D, the Wizard is just so overpowered. He can do everything. I play as a Wizard. If you set up the right build, you can't be stopped.
Yeah, a Wizard would be like... You could say Denise from that perspective, like how OP
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
Wizard
true.
is.
He
But
definitely has magic armor and the shield spell with how hard he is to hit.
yeah.
It's just invisible.
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah, and he's got... Do you play much Dungeons and Dragons?
I play Baldur's Gate, so I'm pretty familiar with how that whole class system works. But as far as Dungeons and Dragons, the game, no, I don't play that much.
The thing is, with Baldur's Gate, because the context is sort of the game itself is the GM. Wizards are very, very strong, and spells are, of course, the strongest way to play.
Yeah.
But they're slightly nerfed because you can't do something like I cast flight and then just fly out the level or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But regardless, Magic
Double.
very good in D&D, and if you compare that to like a fighter, what does he do? Oh, I hit things.
Yeah.
What a yub. Although personally, when it comes to role-playing games, I'm a fan of. I'm getting distracted.
Sorry.
Anyway,
this
it's
fight's really entertaining, so I'm kind of focused on that right now. But
a
in the
pause
back.
there.
Okay, hopefully that was just lag. Abir losing the trade there, which does happen against Tarna. That is just when it gets messy, Tarna can suddenly win it. Like so, Abir has to, and that's what I mean about Bara struggling in this matchup. He really has to, a lot of times, get out of the way of those cuts. Otherwise, it is a bad time for Bara. And this time he does win the trade, but that's, I think, because Captain Adler hit the body and because he took a hit going in, so his damage was a little bit reduced. It's good for
It's
Abir.
telling how good his health is when he can almost get a double when his back is completely turned to the opponent and they like strike him in the shoulder of the sword arm, which is his weakest point. Or I suppose the wrist is the weakest point, but you get the point.
Yeah, nice
the
hit
head.
to the head. I still think this could go down to the last flag, and I want to hear from Captain Adler if this was some kind of elaborate psychological trick to take that risk of losing by randomly using Jakob and throwing it, so that it would come down to this.
Honestly, this might be the fact that he has no dedicated representative, as he's viewed as like a joke wildcard character.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think with people like Dauntless playing Yendrek, whenever Jakob gets played, he just loses. There's no one that can win with Jakob against a competent player.
I mean, I've done it before in one round, but it wasn't easy. And it was against Isabella, and he has kind of some of Samuel's moves, so I kind of chalk it up to that. Like, I could have played Samuel probably and done the same thing, sort of deal.
And much easier, more or less, much easier.
And so far, Captain Adler is going ahead, actually. So if this was some kind of elaborate ploy,
scheme,
against the beer psychology, it's definitely working.
Well,
it could have just been like, oh, he wants to try Jakob, though. Like, I do that too. And again, wins the trade. That's what Tarna does.
Yeah, he muscles his way through. And unlike Zera, who he has many similarities with. Oh, completing the circle there.
They clash blades there. Nobody got hit.
Active parry.
Yeah.
Somehow nobody got hit. I swear that sword phased right through Tarna.
It could have, but that's what Hellish Quart does, unfortunately. Attacks can cancel each other out. That's just the game mechanic.
Yes. I don't know how he parried that one.
Yeah, it definitely looked weird, but the grab, nice! And Bara, you can see Bara switched to the default skin. His head just magically became the default skin there after
his hat fell off.
Funny
his hat fell off.
Little bug there. And Captain Adler does take it pretty decisively, actually, this round, although it did come down to the wire, so definitely... That
Very
doesn't
well
tell the whole story.
To both opponent. Yes. Well, there you go. I did not expect such a result. A beer here, claiming lag was the culprit, as he typically does, and Captain Adler congratulating his opponent. Very well played to both. And for our next match.
Yeah, we got Grid Square against Info. And then we'll have Piper against Nullified. Two of them are...
Yes.
Those two are Two Strikes players, so they're representing the Two Strikes community, which also has their own version of the USFC, if anybody
really?
happens to be interested. Yeah.
I heard about Two Strikes. It's a fighting game where it's only heavy and light blows.
Yeah, and the heavy blows kill you in one attack, and obviously the light attacks, it's 2 strikes, hence the name of the game.
I see.
It's a very simple game, of course, but so it's not something I play all the time necessarily, but I think it has its charm for sure. I don't know if it's really a game you can compare to Hellish Court. They're just different. One's more arcadey with simple rules that you can easily understand, and Hellish Court, by its nature, is more chaotic and physics-based. And so there's a lot more complexities at play. Which obviously has its drawbacks, right? The more complexities at play, but I think it also has a lot of benefits. It just depends on how well made the game is and a bunch of other stuff. And
I remember an analysis of this.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of complexity is okay. What you need in a good game is depth. Depth is the telling of a good game. A complex game with no depth is something like a 4X game that has like one strategy that works every time. Boring and overly complicated. A bit like maybe a Paradox game. Those games don't put up much of a fight.
That's a good point.
A game with like not much complexity but infinite depth is something like chess that we're still thousands of years later debating about and learning about to this day.
Yeah, and I would say Two Strikes does have depth. If you watch the pros do it, there is still feinting, there is whiff punishing, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, despite the fact that the rules are pretty simple at the end of the day.
Yes, I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back.
All right. Grid Square, do you need keyboard? Yeah, I figured as much. I just needed to double check that. Info definitely does need keyboard, which Info has. Grid Square, take the left, yep. And Info, take the right side. I'm hoping to see another close fight down to the last round. Yeah, so Captain Adler confirmed that he just wanted to try Jakob. If we're being real, that is the more likely reason why he would have done so. But, I don't know, I like to think there is some villainous scheming going on that resulted in that pick. But, the most likely outcome is, similar to why I do it sometimes, is he just wanted to pick Jakob and try him out. So a beer losing is also pretty devastating for a beer, at least in the sense that he won't get the chance to take me on, having lost his streak. That means it's a little unclear as to who will actually end up challenging me, so I'll do a little bit of math behind the scenes. I'll look at the results of the fights, look at the current updated win streaks, and then we'll put names into the spinner and go from there. It's most likely going to be everybody who has a 2-win streak. I suspect Oak has a high enough win streak. If somebody does have a clear advantage, though, in that regard, we'll just defer to that. So if Oak, for example, having 1 has 3, and other people have, say, 2 wins, then obviously Oak will just get the chance to challenge me, and that's that. So that we won't do any random spinner shenanigans with the wheel in that case. But we will have to examine the results and go from there. It might well be that somebody just gets the chance to challenge me right away. I do kind of want to focus on the fights, so I won't be doing the math right away, but I know Oak is the one who actually puts the results in, so Oak, if you want to save time and look at and update the results and whatnot, do feel free. They'll make it much smoother as to how we'll proceed from there. But it's not a big deal if you are busy or something else or don't want to do it right away. We can do it pretty quickly otherwise. Bit of a lag spike that happens, I think. Hopefully that's all it is. Info's internet is not always the most cooperative of mine, unfortunately, and Grid Square obviously being from Asia, that leads to some challenges on his end, but it looks like Grid Square is actually not the one with issues, it's Info having issues, maybe input issues, I don't know, but and again, it's a shame. Info obviously is picking Jakob specifically for the small sword, but you have to draw the saber first and then switch to the small sword to ever use it. So
Oh, not another Jakob duel. When will people stop trying to play this polished turd of a character? They're polishing a turd. People are trying to make them work. Like Miss Info, bless her. She tries to make Marta work. Doesn't happen. And then she tries to make Jakob work, and it's a Sisyphean task. She keeps going further down the tier list.
At least with Marta, I think Marta has something there. You just can't play her like Marie, which Info is actually good with Marie. She spent the longest time when Marie was bad. Because believe it or not, there was a time when Marie was like trash tier and she was terrible. But Info was playing Marie specifically because of that, apparently. So once she got good with Marie, and Marie then got buffed
likes
after
a good
that,
challenge.
you know, she switches to the next trash tier character, or at least character she doesn't do well with, and then we go from there. Which is funny. Lag spike and it's constant. Grid Square seems to not be experiencing the lag, so I don't like to be that guy, of course. It can be a lot of stuff going on that affects the stability of the connection, but it does seem like it's something on Info's end and something on a Beer's end, if it's just those two. But it could be lots of stuff. I'm not saying it's their fault necessarily, or that it's even their ISP's fault necessarily. It could be a ton of stuff. Which is, you know, it's always a shame because we don't have true online, so, you know, this sort of thing is inevitable.
Not Kubold's repertoire.
Yeah.
You see a change here to Tav from
That's
Baldur's
the thing,
Gate
you
3.
can't even blame Kubold for this.
Yeah.
It's just one of
those... and an excellent punch, followed up by a grab.
Well, I guess you could arguably blame Kubold for not trying to get somebody with the expertise for online to get it to work. He claims that he has, but some people don't believe him. So that's an ongoing debate. I won't get into that, but
yeah.
Basically Kubold's saying one thing and other people think another thing. Yeah.
That's very unfortunate. How did that not kill? He had his entire body opened, Jakob stabbed in, and then what? Did it like got deflected off thin air? And its damage is terrible. You hit him with a triangle in the intestines, and then you stab him a second time. He does nothing.
I might need to write to Kubold about this, because I've seen small sword tests on pigs, and, you know, other similar targets to humans, and that thing just sails right through the body. Like, that point is so fine, the triangle is rigid, like, it just goes straight through flesh, and it's scary, actually, how easily it does that. It does so easily that a risk, actually, is that you might over-penetrate and get too close to your opponent. Like, that's the danger of the small sword is not so much that you will not pierce the target, it's that you might pierce the target too far and put yourself in a spot where your opponent can grab you and take you down with them.
But it seems that this is an exception. Maybe he's using a blunt small sword because, you know... Oh, and the grab attack. Very nice.
It would have to be a pretty blunt edge to not penetrate the target. But... Or, not edge, tip. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. I gotta say, for all the slack I give him, Miss Info is making the best of this character, as she often does.
Yeah.
Go double that. I mean, anything that isn't losing with Jakob is good. So
Yeah,
a double is good.
At least the wide swings are potentially punishable, and that one at least did the damage. The other thing is, the rapiers do more damage, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, you're doing the same thing. Yeah, it's a shorter weapon, but you're still getting the same penetration, if not more, with the small sword. So there's no reason for the stabs, in my opinion, to be doing less damage. There might be a balance thing that Kubold was considering, like, oh, the small sword's more nimble, so it should do less damage. I don't really think that's true. It has less reach than the rapier as well, so you gotta consider that.
And it's terrible into auto guard. It's so inaccurate. If it had better damage than the rapiers, but kept its inaccuracy, it would still be terrible.
Yeah,
like,
and you can't cut
for instance,
is the other
with
thing,
the small sword, if you want to win, I don't want to give a hint to the opponent, so I'll save this after. There's one thing you can do, and it will just never hit you, ever. And it's a single button press. I'm not going to say what it is, as I don't want to give advice to the opponents, especially when they're fighting Jakob. You know, that should be all the advantage you need.
Yeah.
Oh, very good intercept there. But, yeah, it is just ludicrous. I like the character, the design and the story and the fashion is all great, but the gameplay just isn't quite there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put together some feedback. It might be futile, but I'm gonna try it anyway, that people have for Jakob, and I'm gonna send some more to Kubold. And we're gonna see if we can get maybe some new moves for him, some better accuracy and damage. I think more so accuracy, because we've seen this issue with Marie as well. It used to be that you would stab the opponent multiple times and they wouldn't die. But Kubold told us there's actually more about accuracy, not total damage, because if Marie gets a perfect hit, it's like over 100 damage, which is more than enough to kill. It's just that too many hits were counting as grazes. It took Kubold forever to actually fix that, but he did, to his credit. And now Marie can one-shot really easily if she lines up the point properly. So we need the same treatment, I think, for Jakob. Not so much more damage, but better accuracy, which will also help with getting around auto guard. And what else? Also allowing us, I know I told Kubold already, he's probably already heard that a bunch of times, but allowing us to switch which weapon we start with would be great, at the very least. And info eventually goes to Marie. This is a character she's practiced a ton with, so she is a very formidable Marie player. Oh, somebody alt-tabbed?
I alt-tabbed because I was talking to someone in Discord, sorry. I was calling Gideon fat and useless. Sorry.
Okay,
My
one
mistake.
moment. Oh, good. I also gave you keyboard, it looks like. I should take that away so you don't even have to worry
You should.
about that.
I was typing the whole time. Apologies if that fucked up anyone in the game. I was typing that Gideon is like a heavyweight boxer, and not just because he's fat.
Yeah.
Although a fat fighter who's a heavyweight, that's more like UFC, not to confuse with what's going on right now.
Yeah.
But in the UFC, famously, all their fighters have no talent compared to boxers. Which is an exaggeration, but I like insulting the UFC. Because it's evil.
Yeah, a lot of people are dissatisfied with it lately for a variety of reasons. Not all of which will be mentioned here, just as per the rules of the server. We'll stay out of the political discussions, but as far as how it's actually ran, like, objectively, there are a lot of issues, I would say, right now, with corruption.
Dana White's an evil man. That's all you have to say. He's a bad man. If ever I want to... You know how Hulk in the Avengers film is like, oh, you want to know my secret? I'm always angry. His secret was that he could just think about that Dana White was still alive, and he got angry.
Yeah. More or less.
Right, I'm making an effort not to type now. I'm going to have to use my phone to type about... You can tell I'm not paying attention. My attentiveness is gone. Where is my phone? Right.
Yeah, it's all good. You don't have keyboard control anymore, so you can do whatever you want.
Oh, that's chill. Oh, there it is. It blended into my clothes. All right.
Ever had it where your AirPods, like you have them in your ears and you just forget they're there? And somebody tells you
I've
to
had that
take
with a
them
game
out and you're
controller.
like, what? I don't have them. And you're like, oh, I do.
Well, I typically use much bulkier headphones, but I've had the same thing happen with a gamepad before, or more accurately, a PlayStation controller.
Because it's a thing with me. I don't know if a lot of other people have it, but it's like I can get really focused on something if I'm busy or I'm playing a game. Somebody can be right next to me and talk to me, and I cannot hear them. And it's not because
Yes.
my hearing's bad, it's because I'm focused on this thing, and I literally cannot hear, outside background noise. I can tune it out at will. Sometimes subconsciously too. I don't even mean to, but I tune it out, and then people are trying to talk to me and I can't hear them. And it gets people really frustrated, but I'm like, I'm not trying to tune you out, man. I'm just busy with this thing.
Yeah, I get that too, where I often focus on things. I wear noise-cancelling headphones, and my mother, she particularly hates that I do, because she constantly calls me down for tasks and that sort of thing, and she's like, oh, those bloody headphones, and being an obese woman, she doesn't like going up the stairs to come and get me. I don't want to make it seem like I hate my mother. I love my mother most of the time, but that's just something that happens. And I'm guessing that was Info wins?
Yes,
I'm not
Info
sure.
won this one.
Very well done, Info. A rare win for her, as she often plays the low tiers, but a welcome one regardless. I alt-tabbed again. Well, who cares? Whatever.
Yeah, well, nobody
matter.
noticed it this time, so because your keyboard's
Yeah.
off.
I was
Parsec
typing
anyway.
up a storm, so I was probably putting in inputs for both fighters.
Yeah, well, they're both on keyboard as well, so hopefully the fact they were on keyboard controlling their characters kind of overrided that. But if there were people with controllers, that would have definitely, because keyboard takes priority in this game because of how Kubolt's done it. That could have been bad for sure. But I think we avoided that, so. That is something, by the way, with a lot of new players, we used to have the issue where new players would be like, oh, I control both sides, and they'd start inputting stuff for their opponent by mistake, and we'd always have to tell them, like, no,
do
you
that.
have
That's
to
cheating.
control your side, yeah. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's really hard to enforce that.
Yes.
So, if people are having input issues, sometimes it could literally be the other opponent doing stuff, intentionally or unintentionally. And that's just an issue of not having online.
I used to have this fight. I used to have this problem when I was on the right side on my old laptop. Steve, God rest him, he's dead now. But he was taken by the heat. Whenever I was playing on the right side, I'm on a ThinkPad, or at least a ThinkPad style keyboard. So the weight of my inputs would affect inputs and press down keys on the other side of the keyboard. So sometimes, if I press a certain series of buttons, I can cause the opponent to do an attack accidentally. Which I don't even think that's wrong. That's like a secret combo, like mind control move, I think. But I figured that out. I only ever had that problem against Max, who's a very friendly player in the server, and taught me how to play initially.
Yeah.
Nice guy, that Max. Oh, no, Max's girlfriend was just playing and won, so he'll no doubt he'll be happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those things. I remember early in the community, because we were having all these keyboard issues, we were like considering just making it controller only. Like we would not allow keyboard users because of all these potential issues. But then we discovered keyboard splitters are a thing and stuff like that. So we've started recommending that, and that fixes a lot of the issues that can happen. Oak also has a software. It's a software that makes it so that your keyboard is viewed as a controller by Parsec. So you only control the one side.
And Oak himself, he made this technology, or did he merely share it around?
So what Oak has is a special software. It's not really a keyboard splitter, but it works in a similar way. To where it's your inputs on one side. But it's not that it views it as a controller, it still views it as keyboard. It's just that you can't control both sides. That is a valid thing, though. Now, the more we think about it, we could make it so that Oak software or a keyboard splitter or something like that is mandatory. But I also recognize that that's kind of a headache for new players, right? They don't have controller and they're like, what do I do? You know?
Yes.
So.
And if there's one thing this community doesn't need, it's struggling to attract new players.
Yeah, and that's why we didn't end up banning keyboards. We were like, well, now we're just alienating half of all people potentially, right? So it
Yes,
didn't
more than
prove
half, I would
practical.
say.
Yeah,
I'd say more than a majority of people use keyboards overall.
yeah. Yeah, and I bet Kubel hasn't really considered online play much, and that's why the game feels like it's better built for controller than keyboard, even though you can play on keyboard if you need to. It's
To be fair, I did watch Northern Line. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He played this game when it first came out.
Yeah.
A long time ago, 5 years ago, 2021, I believe, or 2020.
Mhm.
And the Steam warnings back then did say this is a controller-based game. Please use a controller. So that's
Yeah.
long been a consideration of Kubel, in all fairness.
Yeah, like he's taken the steps to at least tell people, like, you know, this game is better built for controller. You should probably use controller type of thing. Yeah. Certainly back when we had the issues, especially that was the prevailing wisdom. Obviously that's changed, but we used to tell people like, please consider using controller. It's going to be easier on everybody type of thing.
I see. What dark
Before we
ages we
discovered
once
stuff.
lived in.
Yeah.
I'm so
Alright.
happy that the world just keeps getting to be a better place year after year. Isn't that a wonderful thing, Subotai?
If only, but in some respects, yes, absolutely. There is progress for
Yes.
sure.
There's hope yet for the Hellish Court Discord server.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that. There's not many places on the internet where you're primarily interacting with people and that there's not so much toxicity, but this community is one of those
Yes.
places. So I know we talk
A
about,
rare
oh, it's
niche.
gotten more toxic, the veterans complain a lot, and their complaints are valid. I'm not saying they're invalid because there used to be even less toxicity. But by and large, if you compare our community to a lot of fighting game communities, like it's a
Yeah.
night and day
Tekken.
difference. Yeah.
Poor
Tekken
Tekken
is,
players.
yeah.
I
Strike's
remember,
actually is a good
has
community,
TekkenNet
too.
recovered at all? Because a few months ago, earlier this year, every single thumbnail I saw that was about that game made it look like the YouTubers wanted to kill themselves for playing it. So hopefully things have gotten better over there.
I don't think it has, but thankfully, it's a game you can also play casually and not think that much about that. So, it's. But if you
Yes.
take it seriously and you're into the community at all, it's definitely it can be a pretty toxic place.
Oh, did it happen where they prioritized the casual experience over the competitive one?
Good updates, Nullified says. That's good. Okay, I haven't heard much about that, but apparently there's been good updates. So,
Oh, good for them. I'm happy for them.
yeah.
Apparently, Street Fighter 6 is a fighting game that's generally been on the right track. I've heard nothing but positive things over there, well, for the most part. And
Okay. Waiting for Piper. We got Nullified here.
I mean, I don't think. Have I seen Nullified fight before? I don't know.
You might have. He's been sort of in and out. He's a bit less active here, but he has been getting back into the game a little bit by bit, when he's been available. So
Yeah.
he's definitely more into the Tekken and the two strikes lately. So, but he is an old veteran of Hellish Court, so he loves the game as well. Maybe just got burnt out, got busy, stuff like that. But I'm gonna ping Piper again. To be fair, it's probably a bit later in the UK than it is North America, so I do understand.
It is 8:45.
Okay, that's not that bad actually.
It's actually 23 degrees. It's mercifully cool for an evening. Although if we don't go below 20 degrees, it is a tropical night. In which case, I get to be very sad again.
You see, I talk about how hot the summers can get here, and it is true. But at least we can count on the nights being cool out here. Even more so if you're in like the Badlands, right? Which is kind of like our desert. Like, it can get really cold.
Is that further up north, the wastelands?
The Badlands are further south, actually.
That makes more sense. That is warmer down there.
Yeah. Although it's kind
when
of
I think
funny
Badlands,
with how
though,
the heat waves have been working here, because I've been talking about how the north is actually where it's been hot, because the climate is so fucked. So
the
black
that's not the only
flies
thing
up
that's
there
fucked.
and shit are worse than
I mean,
usual, and they are usually bad. So imagine.
Yes. No, you mentioned the man-eating flies. They sounded like an alien species, the horseflies.
Yeah.
Although when I was talking earlier about there's hope yet for Hellish Court and nothing else, I wasn't talking about the internet. I was talking about the world at large. But
of course, yeah.
You hit the nail on the head there. I love being a nihilist.
Anyway, as far as mosquitoes go, mosquitoes are pretty bad where I'm at because of how wet it's been, how much it's rained. They're up 4,000% in Alberta.
4,000.
Population.
Jesus, wept.
4,000%. I'm not exaggerating. I wish
That's
I
like
was.
prophecy levels. That's like release Moses from Egypt and the Jews, or I will send a swarm of locusts levels.
Yeah.
4,000%.
So like right where I live, it's not that bad, although they can get kind of bad. But if you go out near lakes, out in the wilderness by my campsite, like you get swarmed by them unless you put bug spray on. You got smoke and stuff to keep them at bay.
You were telling me about this before. You've told me about this before, believe it or not. You said one of your children, sort of like a horde of flies, just sort of swept over him. You lost eye contact with him for a second, and then there was just a skeleton left, and he collapsed to the ground in cartoon fashion.
Man, that would
because
be
they
a
ate
wild
all his
story.
flesh in a matter of seconds. The other story I was going for, as I was making it up, was they swarmed him and then picked him up, and like in a swarm of flies, they abducted him and flew him away.
That
There were
sounds
so
like
many of
One
them.
Punch Man. That one mosquito.
Oh yes,
villain.
no, I saw that in season 1.
Yes, that
I was
literally
12
happened.
when I
At least
watched
the
that.
skeleton thing happened.
Yes,
So-
and they did carry people away and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Although, when it comes to superheroes, I think my favorite, I know it's a terrible film, but I really like Sandman from Spider-Man 3 and how he can just travel around. And I thought to myself, Sandman's overpowered. He's so strong. How does Spider-Man beat him?
Spider-Man 3 wasn't the best of Spider-Man films, but I think compared to so much of the Disney stuff out there, it's like the prequels in Star Wars. Like you really start to appreciate it when you see how
Yeah.
bad things can get, right?
Yes. Like with the Amazing Spider-Man. The thing is, it was sabotaged. They said, we want Venom. And then Raimi wanted it, and he already had it in there, so it was a Sandman film. And the Sandman scenes are incredible in that film. Like, if you just put that as a short film in his own somewhere, like the criminal, he gets captured, he falls in the sand pit, and then he's like that scene where he struggles to rise up. It's incredible. It's a perfect scene. And then the rest of the film happens, and it's like, oh no. You do get Bully Maguire, though. So, is it a bad film? Who knows? It's definitely a classic example of so bad it's good, I'd say.
All right, I have a
I'll fight again,
proposition
if
for
you want.
Nullified as well.
If Piper doesn't show up, I'll fight again. If you want. Although I did win, and you said. Oh, you want to go with him? Fair enough.
Yeah, just because Nullified is actually the USFC champ over at 2 strikes, and he has a ridiculous win streak. Is it like 15 or something? It's beyond anything anybody's achieved in Hellish Court, for sure.
My word.
Yeah, he's
Even
just
more than
been
Warden.
taking names. Yeah. This is a public execution, but I'm down. All right, let's do a battle between champions of different branches of the USFC. I am putting my title on the line for this one, so if Nullified does manage to win, he will actually win it. So
Imagine
we've
that, the
done this
first
type
battle
of
back.
thing before. Call it corruption if you want, but I think this will be fun.
Well, it's similar to real boxing.
Oh wait, Piper.
What's his face?
Piper is typing. Hang on.
Hey,
let's
Piper's
see.
here. Thank goodness.
Let's see.
I was just going to say that reminds me of. Have you ever heard of Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champ? He retires every 2 years. He's retired like 4 times in his career already, and every single time he comes back, he does one warm-up fight, and then he gets the belt again. It's like it's blatant corruption because he can just retire, come back, and then instantly get the belt. And I was gonna say, Nullified could become like the Tyson Fury of Hellish Court. He could retire and then immediately get the belt.
Yeah. Okay, Nullified will be on the left.
Piper drops out.
Yeah, unfortunately he just left, so that's all good.
Unlucky.
All right, Nullified opted to fight me, so that's what we're doing. A battle between USFC champions. Let me just make sure he has control.
Of course. While Nullified has played before, after a break, one does wonder if rust has taken hold. And on top of this, Subotai is naturally in the home field advantage here, as he is the current reigning champ of Hellish Court, as he has been many times.
Hang on, there's some kind of bug with my inputs. What's going on?
Well, you never want that to happen.
Nullified has control. What? Alright, I'm gonna... Somebody's controlling me a little bit. I don't know how, because this doesn't make much sense. There's only... Nullified as controller, so it can't be him. Maybe it's my controller. I don't know. But I'm gonna reset them, the gamepads, just to sort this out.
In that time, I'm going to get a drink.
'Kay.
Staying
it's not-
hydrated.
Yeah, and it can't be Bobo because Bobo has literally no controls. Okay, I was gonna say, what the heck is going on? Maybe my controller has drift all of a sudden. That's what it looks like to me. Alright, I'm gonna switch controllers. See if that fixes it. And otherwise, I might have to play on keyboard, which will not be right. But it is doable. Maybe it's a suitable handicap because Nullified, by his own admission, is a bit rusty. This one so far is working. I've had issues with this one before though, so... Alright, let's try it. Thankfully, milder problems, not drift like that. Or maybe it's just a bug with this. I think the Tarna bug's still there. That might be what it is. Alright, let's go and use Yakub. It's working better, whatever's happening. We're gonna do a Yakub mirror, like I was gonna say earlier. At least to start off. Let's go with that. It's very two-strikesy as well with the drawing of the sword, so...
I've returned, and just in time for another bout. Subotai here, I think on the left.
I think my controller
No,
disconnected. That's my bad, Nullified. It
Can't be good.
pauses when that happens sometimes.
Well, isn't
Unfortunately.
that fortunate?
But we're back. Yeah, that was not intentional. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, and an immediate switch to the short sword, and he pressed escape so fast that it actually zoomed out the camera straight as he struck him in the head. Picture perfect finish. Subotai here, perhaps taunting his opponent, remaining unarmed, before exploding forward and attempting to sidestep him to death. Winning the trade there. As always, high strikes beat low strikes. While he is no doubt a champion gamer, Nullified skills at 2-strike and being the champion clearly don't completely transfer to Hellish Quart.
Let's try it.
But that is not to be surprising. And a punch there, managing to get the job done with a short sword, though that victory was more on the punch than the short sword itself. Good punish there. Nice retreating cut, that's all you need sometimes. Subotai here, eager to finish out the match. As both combatants get a bit weary, and a quick sidestep to punish the stab is all he needs. Very well played. At least I hope that was Subotai on the
was
left.
Me, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're losing that badly, buddy, you got to sort your life out. But yeah, not that I want to insult Nullified. I want there to be a bridge of diplomacy between our two great
It's-
communities.
That's fair. It doesn't happen super often.
Yes,
For anybody
Nullified
who's,
here.
who calls themselves a veteran, that is Laszlo. So I'm gonna. That's an old main to Nullified, so I'm gonna use my main as well.
Well, he's certainly fighting an uphill battle here as the underdog. It was
Yeah.
of the combatants between them.
In his
while
prime, by
Laszlo
the way, he played
Yeah.
a lot of Laszlo, and Laszlo was good. So
Oh dear. Well, Laszlo's perhaps no longer good, but there's no such thing as a win button character in this game, and perhaps on a wing and a prayer he can get the job done. Subutai screaming ahead with an early lead. Nullified here, assuming a defensive posture, but not quite enough to get the job done. He's trading blows, but of course his lackluster damage is not enough to get the job done, as we can clearly see here, despite the fact that both combatants have the same health. So surely if they did the same damage, you'd see a lot more doubles, but such is not the case. Nasty sidestep there. Leg sweep misses, but goes unpunished. Another leg sweep. Subutai there, fighting for the centre and exhausting himself, before following it up with a nasty sidestep. Dominating the match quite decisively here. Subutai is picking his opponent apart like he's a two-piece meal. Oh, and a good punish there. A couple of swings, followed up by a third, and just barely, Nullified is able to get a foothold in this match. He's no doubt very happy about that. Bad punish there. Exhausting his opponent with a strike to the chest. Oh, and this lingering stab. Well, the sidestep there was the right idea. It was just badly positioned, unfortunately. And Laszlo dies. Laszlo currently looking like he couldn't fight his way out of an empty room. Nasty gash there across his arm. Sparabash hits him with a retreating cut. Going for trick shots now. Subutai gloating over his opponent. And the Thunder Punch finishing him off. Oh dear, Nullified. Indeed, predicted that this would be a public execution, and perhaps he's not far off. And that is 2-0 to Subutai. Unlucky to him. I do like his profile picture as well. He has Berserk, this Nullified. I'll explain it for the folks at home. He has a Berserk profile picture, the main character, Guts, who I believe is the main character of the manga, and perhaps anime, though I'm not too certain. And he has Pepe the Frog, sort of photoshopped on top of his face, quite humorously, which I most certainly approve of. I will read out the top 5 characters for Nullified if he's confused. Nullified, Kalkstein, that's not a top 5 character. But you know what?
one of his.
God bless you. One of his
So-
top 5. That's one of the ones he
There
makes.
you go. Yeah.
God bless you. Good luck to you. I hope you win this. Oh, and starting off on a fortuitous note there. He gets a flag initially with a deft stab forward. Bit of incortata there. But he gets punished with an uppercut, and he's already exhausted. One of the key weaknesses of Kalkstein is his lack of stamina there, which is exploited to no end by Subutai. The uppercut, of course, Barabash has, is the fastest in the game and a remarkable punishing tool, provided the opponent does not respond with an overhead strike of their own. See another attempt there, fighting for the centre. Oh, and a lingering stab, just picks the wrist of his opponent. The Thunder Punch, weaving through the guard and the overhead chop. Finishes the bout.
Oh shit. Sorry about that.
I did alt tab and started typing. That's not my fault, is it?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Who knows? Regardless. Oh, and a
That would
nasty stab to
explain
the
why
shoulder
my
there.
input swapped, but I do think it is my controller disconnecting. We'll see. It's fine.
We shall see.
It was
Hopefully
during a
Subutai
lull in the
can-
fighting, so I don't really care.
Hopefully he can recover from this most telling of blows. Though I gotta say, Nullified's doing great work here with stabs that you very rarely see. Typically, Kalkstein, as we see from Grid Square and other players, does more combination-based attacks, but currently he's more than happy to simply single tempo his opponent with telling strikes. It's working out well for him, except right there where it didn't. Although surprisingly, for the first time in this entire match, Nullified is in the league. And if anyone can get in the lead against Subutai's Barabaj, then they must be a very good player indeed, as he is among the best in the server. So Nullified there, shaking off the rust, showing why he's top dog. Grab attempt there, I think, from Subutai. Though it's hard to tell. No shortage of feints there. Nasty uppercut to the chest. But the retreating stamp gets the job done. And already, could we be seeing a comeback? The Thunder Punch doesn't quite finish off the job. But the Thunder Punch comes out again, and it does finish the job. We've seen no shortage of the Thunder Punch this tourney, and I've been very happy to see it. I must say, I approve greatly. Two strikes to the head there, doubles, as Kalkstein is offered one to get. His high damage and low health, coupled with his opponent low health, often means that if they trade blows, it'll be a disaster for both of them. Good punish on the run in there from Subutai, assuming a more defensive posture now as he takes the centre. Neither player willing to give an inch, but Nullified is backing up quite a lot, hoping to bait an opponent's strike. He gets overly eager there, and his opponent seizes the opportunity from a blowout of measure. Happens to the best of us. Subutai here is just one flag away from winning it all, but Nullified too is but one flag away from starting his great comeback, which sadly was killed in the crib before it could begin. And that's Subutai 3, Nullified 0. But I must say, for someone who's coming back from a hiatus, he put in a remarkably good effort. Well played to both characters, etc., etc.
Yeah, good game, Nullified. Now, we will begin the work of looking through the results and figuring out who actually is a possible contender, and we'll go from there. I will look at the stats first of all and the people who participated. I do have a list of that, so that'll be pretty straightforward. And I have the results actually of all the fights previously, so I'll just have a look at that quickly and mark down who won and who lost and do a bit of math. It won't take long. Okay.
Okay. If it doesn't involve me, I think I might bow out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and ladies and gentlemen, I've had a wonderful time, but I think I shall bid you all adieu. So long, everyone, and thank you for stopping by.
All right, see ya. Okay, I'm just gonna use Notepad here to note down who has just won, and then I'll add a +1 there, and then I'll look at the stats. So Grid Square won his fight. Captain Adler obviously won. Bobo will not likely get a chance, but he did win. I'll tell you what, since Bobo is bowing out, even if he's a contender, we'll just give him a shot next week. Because I don't want to keep him any longer than he wants to be here. Platypi, Dauntless, Plebeian is going to be working. Add Dauntless to my list there. He was a later joiner, so I didn't put him on right away. And Pico is actually a winner, but he probably again won't be available. So I'll remove, unless they object to it right now, I'm just not gonna put them in the spinner if we need to put people in a spinner. Okay. So a beer lost his streak. Radzig obviously lost his streak. Oak is currently at 2. Dauntless would be at 2. Captain Adler, you guys can look at these stats yourself, by the way. See, Captain Adler doesn't have a streak, so I'll remove him. So right now we're at Dauntless. What does Oak have? Hang on. Oak would be at 2, yep. Platypi and Grid Square. Sorry, I'm having to control F in the stats to find these people's names. Platypi is unfortunately not a contender at this point, but he does have a streak for later. Remove him. Now we just need Grid Square. Who does not have a streak? Well, he does now, but it's 1, so it's not enough. It's only people of 2 win streaks who'll be in contention. So, believe it or not, it's between Oak, Dauntless, and Bobo. I think we'll remove Bobo just because Bobo wanted to bow out. I won't force him to do another fight. So, I will ping the 2 who are contenders. In fact, I'm not going to do a spinner since it's 2 people. We're just going to flip a coin, I think is how we'll do it. I'll do this publicly, so I will disable my game capture for just a moment so you guys can see the Discord. I want to just make it so that it's there's no doubt as to what's happening. Nothing's rigged or anything like that. I can turn this off. Sword or shield, Oak? If Oak wins the coin flip, Oak will fight me, and if obviously he does not win the coin flip, then it'll just be Dauntless battling me. And vice versa. And I just realized with Nolly we didn't do the touch tips thing. I just totally forgot because it wasn't the main title fight, but that's okay. It wasn't like an official main title fight, so we can ignore that. It's not like he felt slighted by that anyway, so we both sort of mutually forgot and fought, so. Okay, that means Dauntless gets shield. Now, if the command will work. Alright, Oak is gonna battle me for the champion title. Dauntless will be one of the contenders next week. I think there's actually a few contenders, but a couple of them are disqualified because they're not available for whatever reason, so. Which is fine, usually it's work and stuff like that, so that's not a problem. It just means they'll get a chance later. Alright, I'm taking the left, Oak will be on the right. I know you didn't expect this, Oak, but unfortunately the contenders lost their fights, so here we are. You are the next in line, along with a couple of others, and you won the coin flip. Try joining again. I just saw you pop up, but you disappeared. Hopefully my controller is relatively cooperative. It so far is. It might be a power issue, honestly, with this one. This one otherwise works perfectly. There's no drift. Yeah, so you're fighting me because you won the coin flip, if that makes sense. Okay, Oak is here. I'll turn game capture back on. Just because. It's not strictly necessary, it's just better than having to tab out constantly and it cluttering the stream. Much more professional. Alright. Now, just a warning, Oak, my controller might disconnect at random times. I hope it doesn't, but yeah, if there's a random pause, it's not intentional. It shouldn't happen often if it does, but for some reason I've been getting that issue lately. I think it's a power thing, but and the other controller has that I'm not usually using that I tried to use has drift, so I think. But anyway, we'll touch tips here. On the left is yours truly, the current USFC champion, looking to increase my streak and make a record in the USFC and defend my title. And on the right, we have Oak, one of the best players in the server, an old veteran and master saber fencer, especially with Yazik lately. He's been tearing shit up with Yazik, an absolute demon, and always a fun rival to fight with in tournaments. Anyway, fight clean, fight dirty. We can begin. Yeah, controller disconnection again. That's not doing that deliberately. There we go. It's always at the start of rounds or sometimes in between rounds. It's weird. Anyway. At least the timing hasn't been that bad. Really sorry about that. That kind of wrecks the rhythm sometimes. Why is it happening though now? I don't understand. So either at the start of a flag or at the start of a round. It's weird. Sorry about that. Again, I'm not doing that intentionally. Lose stamina there, I think. Okay, now I'm looking. Yeah, you can see there. I don't know if you can see the. I don't think the viewers can see it, but I think Oak can. Like after each round, it literally decides to disconnect on Steam. That's my gamepad disconnecting. It's really weird. At least Steam gives me a heads up when it happens, but and then it reconnects when I input something. It's strange. Strange timing of it too. It's like oddly convenient, but at the same time, I would rather it not do that at all. So I'll try and figure it out, but anyway. Great fight so far, by the way. That doesn't take away from that. Yawn is going pretty well for me, but it's been good so far. I will say he made it very hard for my Bara though. Like that's why I switched right away. It's like Bara's not going very well. Not letting you get away. Commentating a bit more than usual this time. Ooh, moved to the side a bit and the chop landed. Nice. Oh, nice try. Preemptive chop there caught him, but I see what the Oak was trying to do there. That could have been good. I'm surprised that worked. I think Oak was queuing a combo. Funny, I'm surprised it worked, but I did it anyway to keep the pressure on. And it paid off. That be how it goes sometimes. Good fight, Oak. I think the more I play this matchup, I think Jan is actually a counter to Yazuk. Bara is not, and I think it's because Bara doesn't have the versatility that Jan has, and Jan just has more range, more HP too, so if it gets messy, like Jan can sometimes eat a hit where Bara can't eat a hit, so I think that also does play a role. Whoops, I meant to say GG, my phone is... what the hell? Yeah, but good fight, Oak. Sorry about the weird pauses, at least they were happening at the beginning of rounds, or flags, and that was it, but really strange. I think it's actually a power issue. I think I need to sort that out, but anyway, good fights to everybody. It was a great event. Tons of close fights too. You really can't ask for better in the USFC. And I will see you guys next time.